D6, scrap paper, and
There you go. All right, so welcome to Roleplay Cafe. I am Jason. We're here with Dell. And Dell, we are going to do a
hello.
playtest of Space Age of Man Session 4, hot on the heels of our Session 3 playtest earlier this week. Or last week, late last week, early this week. I don't even know where I'm at, what day it is. It's the weekend, isn't it? I'm going to be the character this time, and Dell is going to be our presenter. Again, in these playtests, we have our mechanics, and these playtests are really not only testing the mechanics, but really they're testing the GM roles everything. And the player just plays their character. All right. Okay, go.
Yep. All right, sir. It's been 3 months since you first shipped out on a freighter to the L4 Lagrange Point, which houses the transitional facility for the mining operations that mine the belt. So you had been part of a new crew that had been transported to the facility. You had waited on that facility probably a week or so. It was an orbital facility, similar to like a bicycle wheel that turns. So the gravitational you had thankfully arrived there. The freighter that you had taken had been 0G, and when you got there, it felt like you had planted your feet on some artificial turf and felt good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you had seen and witnessed the miners come back to this facility to be able to kind of restore body mass and bone density and health in general from going out on their forays into the mining belt to mine. Okay? So, you know, from your standpoint of your profession, that they'll load up, and what you've witnessed, they'll load up mining, they'll mine the belt, load up freighters and carts, and have them sit back to that mining orbital, and then the freighter that had transported you will then load up and take it back to other destinations.
So the space truckers take
moon,
back
Earth.
Raw ore.
Exactly, mine from the belt. So this is what you're up to do. You've been set in a professional capacity to kind of oversee the mechanical equipment, to make sure that it's updated. A lot of this equipment, you've noticed when you got here, is very old, and you seem to be. It's not really modern. This facility has been going on for at least 10 years, so there's more of a breakdown. So they needed to add another engineer to the facility to kind of maintain the upkeep.
Okay.
Even though you see that it's your arrival is drastically needed, and it's been way too long that they sat on their hands before even getting you there. Okay, so you're seeing a situation where you got your work cut out for you.
Yep.
While you're on, and this has been a little bit of a rumor for you, but while you're on this base, you see that people jogging around the area that is gravitationally planted to, and they will exercise and they'll whatever, but the crew, they're somewhat tattooed up in different areas that would indicate that they are prisoners of some type, or had been previously. So it's like they're calling their forces, or at least if like there'll be little teardrops here, whatnot, off their eye and whatnot. So that's giving you some kind of a little pause about to what pool of clientele that there are employees that they're pulling from, right? And a lot of these people, it seems that they're emaciated, so you can see the weathered down and frail look of some of these individuals as they run around. They'll kind of get tired as they're trying to run around and exercise and whatnot and build himself back up. But you tell the rigors of space life has been on them, whether they've been up there too long or whatever you go from there. But your stint here is you've signed up for a certain duration of time, which I'll allow you to figure out that contract before you return back. Because extended stays out here is detrimental to your health to a certain degree. But you've been here for, like I said, about a week, and you've met some individuals, the station officer. He seems like a gruff individual. His name is Wade Rains, and he is, he more or less keeps a tight. You have seen security on the installation, and he almost runs like a warden, so to speak. You know what I mean? With lockdowns and time to, you know that you can't be out but a certain time before you have to, they shut down for the night activities. So he keeps people regimented.
Okay.
For whatever purpose. Okay. Your freighter is arriving on this cycle, which you would consider morning after they've already shut down for the night in the cycle, and you're going to be back into anti-gravity situation for yourself. So you'll be leaving that firm grounded feeling. And get a belt. Okay. So you're going off, and there's Cirrus, which is a planetoid, a little bit bigger. There's an installation to where they kind of do some smaller refining, breaking down of the larger ore, into smaller bits before they load up onto the shuttles to take them back to that installation. So it's not all that far of a ride. It's going to take probably an hour or so to reach fully into the belt in that area. All right. So as the door slides open on the porthole or the gang walkway to where these two vessels have docked the shuttle, and they're loading up. You see the pilot is already strapping himself in, more to keep himself, and he floats up a little bit, and it goes back in the seat, and he pulls the cinches down, and he keeps him like that, and he looks over his shoulder at you, and he's, "What are you waiting for? Come in."
Yeah, I grab up.
There's about five individuals behind you loading up with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I go ahead and I'll step aside, letting these other 5 individuals get on before me, waiting till the last minute. I'll pull up my bag. It's a large duffel bag that I carry some change of clothes or gloves, anything I might need, plus maybe some tools that are pretty common for me in this duffel bag. And I'll wait for everybody to get on around me, and then I'll step on and take the last seat on the shuttle, not speaking to anybody.
When you're trying to take the last seat, you notice that the last guy that was following you in stops. He looks at you. Get on. Now, you notice that he is part of the security detail, and he has a weapon on him. It's still ballistic, but it's rounds that do not penetrate. Okay, or like crowd control rounds. Okay, you get on.
Yeah, I'll step on and head for the last seat.
Okay. You sit down. He's sitting right across from you. There seem to be bench rows right across from each other. He sits down and looks at you. He kind of eyes you, and then turns his head away from you, and speaks to the pilot. Let's get a move on. And the pilot turns around, and you can feel or hear rather an internal hum, and then a break loose of of the docking clamps, and it's almost like a free fall. There's a whining sound and it warms up, and a slight pullback as you lean to the side in the seat as the shuttle moves forward.
Okay.
There is.
I think to myself, listening to the clamps and feeling how violent it releases, the natural mechanic and engineer in me says those clamps could be optimized.
You notice the 4 other crewmates sitting there right across from you in the guard. There's 2 to your left and 2 to his left. As you stare across from the security detail, they're speaking to each other, and a lot of them, I think 3/4 of 3 of them, seem really emaciated. Another one seems he's part of the new crew that came aboard with you. Mm-hmm. You recognize his face. Mm-hmm. He seems more healthier. Okay,
and these are miners.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're belters.
So we got a pilot.
Back out to the belt.
We got a pilot, 4 miners, security, and me.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. Okay. So when you go out there, you know that you're going to Cirrus Planetoid, as well as they use even some backpack equipment that you're capable of working on, as far as your knowledge of what you're going into. Some mining equipment.
Yeah.
And the haulers shuttling back and forth, as well as whatever mechanical things used on the temporary, like the little Cirrus base there, the little refining base. Okay, which may afford you a little bit of gravity, but not all that much.
Right.
Very little. But the guys beside you are kind of just talking. Back and forth like guys do on a job site. It's more like you chatter, like you see the name, their names are embroidered on their outfits. I ain't going back to this place. Should never taken this gig. One guy says Bill, and Marcus is sitting across from him. Tell me about it, brother. And there's 2 of the emaciated guys. The guy that is with you that has a little bit more stout posture that came with you up there, eyes him. His name is Sam.
Okay.
Okay. He looks at him curiously and raises up. What's so bad about this? Is it so hard? When are you heading back planet side? Sam says. And they look at him and kind of look at each other, raise an eyebrow, and shake their head. You'll find out. Okay, there seems to be a mark. I mean, there's Jules on his embroidered.
Jules.
Thing is sitting over there, and he's quiet. He's not gabbing so much, but he looks like he's weather worn. He's got dark circles under his eyes.
Okay.
He's leaning over. He looks a little bit sick, brackish.
Okay.
Rocking back and forth a little bit, and keeping to himself with his hands locked over and his elbows on his knees, spit forward.
Gotcha.
The ride is not so long. It's fairly uneventful. One point, the reach over the pilot, Bud. You catch his name as he leans over and glances at. He goes, "Y'all for a little music," and he turns he cracks a little knob and it turns over. This thing that they're on is not modern tech so much as it is kind of outdated. It's probably like a 15, 20-year-old vessel at this point, right? And you hear Steppenwolf Magic Carpet Ride start coming through the speakers of PAs throughout the inside of the vessel.
Yeah, as I sit and take in all this stuff, watching, I'm also noting all of the potential issues with this shuttle and how, as a mechanic, where my jack of all trades, I have to work on everything out here. I see all the areas of this shuttle that have been neglected, that need probably some attention, and I make note of all these. And when the music comes on internally, I frown because now I can't hear, what might be wrong with the shuttle if something were to, right. So all of my senses go into evaluating the machinery, maintaining it, fixing it, and diagnosing problems. And the music goes on. Now I can't hear, which is I'm losing a sense that bothers me, because I want to hear if something goes wrong with the shuttle to quickly diagnose what might, save our lives. So, but I'm noting that they need a mechanic badly, clearly, from what I've seen just everywhere. But they also need a freaking doctor. These guys shouldn't be working.
Yeah, there's one thing that you do notice, though, when you feel that if there's a slickness on your hand, and you look down and there seems to be some kind of fluid, whether hydraulic or whatnot, that is on the bench in between, right up to the side wall, is kind of off the side wall onto the bench, onto your hand. Your hand's halfway on there. You had sensed before this vibrations, erratic, that kind of worked in time with the thrusters, which there would be thrusters to redirect, but you hear, and some of the piping. There's a little bit of a escape of some, not only the hydraulic fuel, but the pneumatic air, lines they're releasing valves that shouldn't be. All right. Okay. So you'll see this, and the gauge. It's almost like the interior of this is filled up with some kind of mine dust. Almost, it's like it's grainy, blackish,
filthy,
siltish looking. Yeah, filthy. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. As you float into the dock on Ceres, the pilot bud turns around. Hold on to your asses, boys. And then he does it almost out of maybe just fun for him. He hits the thrusters a little bit hard, and it swings you all around quick. And you can see it. You can see the planetoid rotate in the view from your angle as the shuttle shifts. Right out the back and across from the other bench where the other guys are sitting. And you notice the security guy hadn't offered his name, or neither does he have an identifier, his name on there, right? So, and there are, numbers underneath the names of the other guy, of the guys.
Okay.
So you pick that up just from observation, but nothing's on him other than his security outfit.
Okay.
And you'll see the planetoid swing into view as the ship lowers or whatever like that. And Bud swings it around and almost expertly, and then drops it down, and you can feel it shift a little bit, the momentum. And everybody's kind of floating above that bench, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the guys are strapped off. In fact, Marcus takes off his prematurely. The security guard looks at him, buckle that back up, as he's already unclasped it, and he starts floating a little bit, and he bumps up against his seatmate and floats back down, and holds one of the pipings above him as it floats down into place, and you feel it kind of drop, and then clamps go on, and you're on a landing pad. Something straps off what is kind of the rails, and it pulls the shuttle back, and you can hear that familiar clamp of the docking porthole in the back, and then you hear a big hiss to your right as you're sitting there, and Bud's already unclasped as the rest of the guys are unclasping too. They're floating around and bouncing a little bit as he's pushing them to the side and working his way back. And he looks, the security guard's already up.
Yeah.
And Bud comes up behind him and starts punching in a code.
Mm-hmm.
And the door hisses, it cracks after a moment. When a green light comes on, then it opens up, and then there's a similar porthole corridor to walk through. Okay. So you've landed.
Okay. I'll get up with my duffel and I'll take advantage of the lightweight to kind of skip through easily with the duffel. The duffel's usually fairly heavy, upwards of 50 pounds, so it's nice to not have to lug it so much in this environment. Through the porthole, yeah. I'll allow naturally. I'll move out naturally in whatever order I'm in to get off of this shuttle. Again, making note of the condition of the shuttle all around. Obviously, having anticipated the decompression or the pressurization sequence, I would have been watching that bulb to turn green, right, in anticipation that it was going to function properly.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
You do know that there's flickers. There's not a constant light source from inside this cabin, even when you docked. Almost like a transference of power. Whenever Bud got up out of his seat and started hitting that, you see various flickers of light.
Yeah.
But all the other guys, Bud weaved his way through there, punched the doors, on the panel, and let out. And the guard looks at you like late, and that's when you got up. But the other guy beside him, the one that was a little bit, Marcus was like, or Bill was like, yeah, it was Bill, that spoke up about not wanting to be back there. And you hear a scuffle behind you. You heard Bill say, "You first," and then a sound, and then Bill kind of slams up against the side of the inside of the door. Hey, hold on, man! You watch your mouth. The security guard's voice rings out. Bill floats back up and reorders. All right, don't be such an asshole. And he puts on his duffel bag.
Okay.
And he pulls himself through. He's got a slight little bruise and cut.
Sure.
As he comes up right beside you, floats in, and the rest of the guys follow in suit. The guard comes out after them.
Okay.
Guard comes back out after them. Okay. It shuts, and you're in this corridor. You feel a very slight tug of gravity.
Right.
Like your foot just touched down a little bit, but you're constantly kind of, But the whole, the whole corridor of this is built low enough to where people can kind of use the top to kind of monkey themselves forward. You know what I mean? Whenever y'all spill out into this room, he goes, "We'll take the left corridor down here to the briefing room,
okay,
and get y'all orientated." You see, it's open. It's not shut off.
Right.
Which to your mind, it would need to have a bulkhead to shut it off. So, whether or not there's no area, in your estimation, that this is built according to some specifications that need to be.
Right. Yeah.
You're seeing shortcuts out the wazoo, right?
Yeah. And
things kind of cobbled together and pieced together that probably it isn't standing up to code.
Correct. Right.
Okay. Everybody just walking toward a certain area, and then there's a little side. down the tube so far, and then there's a little side area where there's a low table that's been obviously attached and welded to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
as well as a seating area around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the security guard goes, "Y'all sit there. The overseer will be here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Give you your orders." And he steps back out into the hallway and sits across it, and he's looking both ways.
Okay.
As the other guys kind of shift in, and it's like one of those booths where they have to swing in.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Okay.
So.
Yeah, again, I make note, but I'm not an inspector. I've got a 900 and, at this point, 925 days left of my tour here. So, I'm counting down the days, and I'm not an inspector, but it's clear that these people are expendable, right? Therefore, they're not too concerned about safety. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the low table keeps you from floating up too much. You notice that it's built low to kind of retain people almost as, a little bit of restraint where there's no belts and whatever otherwise. So you fit comfortably in there.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys are kind of around. I guess you're last one in, so you're tucked in the corner. And there's a little alcove in the table to where, in a moment, the overseer comes in and sets down a tablet. It floats for a second, and then it adheres to it like you could tell it's magnetic, right? So it adheres itself to the tabletop, and he stands, and he's haggard, he's worn. You can tell he's put in some time out in the belt, and he leans on the table, and not necessarily for support, but psychologically or whatever, he kind of leans on the table to hold himself and leans over it, and he says, "All right, you're new," and he looks at both you and Sam. Yeah, I recognize the rest of you, but you, sir, identify yourself and why you're here. Announce it to the rest, and he points towards Sam. And Sam stands up. Sam DeMedio, sir. I'm here to serve out my and then he kind of serve out my time to the company, and so I'm here for 6 months duration. Did you have me? Otherwise, I'm at this place. Hopefully, I can find a good home here. It looks like you fellas are a good bunch. And he kind of flashes a little smile over toward the other three guys there. Jules still has his head down, rocking a little bit. You notice that his fingers are steepled and his elbows are on the table, rocking forward. And Bill and Marcus kind of look at him with a little slight eye roll. And Sam sits down uncomfortably in space. So happy to be here. And then the overseer looks at him, and you notice the overseer has a name plate too, or a name tag on Randall Fritz.
Okay.
And he's like, well, as you can see, he's Randall Fritz. I'm the overseer of this facility, and we're here to mind the belt, as you know. And then he raises an eyebrow and he says, almost forgotten. He rubs his eyes. You, sir. And he points toward you.
Yeah,
Who are you and why are you here?
I kind of let the duffel bag float as I'll, kind of down onto the ground softly, and I'll stand up. McCallister, Mechanic, I've got a tour here. And from what it looks like, I'll be a busy man. As I glance around at everything, kind of, look around and with my eyes draw attention to something that I see has been neglected or, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a mechanic. You got your work cut out for you, but we need you. Glad to have you on board.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "This is a mechanic that I requisitioned," and he kind of smiles toward the security guard, catches himself rambling a little bit, and he stops. And anyway, we have to get you quartered up. You three, you know where you belong. Same place as last time. You, Mr. Domenico, and you, Mr. McCallister. You'll be quartered up near them. I trust that you would perform your duties adequately, promptly, and with earnest endeavor to keep this facility running and production high. And McCallister, I'll need you to report to in maintenance bay early in the morning. He says, "Mr. Domenico, you join the mining crew. That'll be laid out for you and uploaded into your tablets." All right. So then he takes a couple of smaller tablets out and kind of tosses them gingerly across the table, and they land and magnetically kind of touch and land right in front of you, halfway on the table like that, like he's passing out cards.
Okay.
This will give you your daily marching orders, and I trust you keep them. And any insubordination, gentlemen, will not be tolerated. And he glances toward the security. We don't need any of that. Am I clear?
Yeah,
Right.
I'll pick up
Everybody
this
nods.
tablet and examine the outside to see the condition it's in, and immediately try to tap it up to life and make sure it's working. And as he's speaking, and
Okay. It does. It flickers a little bit, and you can tell it's not. It comes on, but then it takes a good while to populate and bring up the information, like the loading screen, and then your information. And it's in DOS, DOS prompt running across it, and it'll pull up your name, your profession,
right.
and then it has like your orders of what to do, and it takes a while it's beep beep beep, and then it
Sure.
populates in, first day orientation meet,
Right.
blah blah blah. So it lays it out like that.
Right.
He's Sam's over there, and he's looking at his, and he's trying to. He looks up and nods at like the insubordination comment. "You get no problem from me, sir."
Mm-hmm.
And puts his head down and taps it. Don't seem to be working for him. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody starts standing up, and then the overseer turns on his heel and just leading to you. Make sure they get situated. He looks at the security guard, and then Mr. Fritz turns around and heads down the corridor. All right.
Okay.
Then security's like, "Up, everyone, up. Quarters are this way. Bring your things, get housed, and you're down for a cycles evening. But tomorrow, work starts in earnest."
Yeah.
And then he's just walking past. Now, when Bill walks past him again, you notice, because he's sliding out the other side of the other side of the bunker that you were in, basically the couch bunker. He walks around and he sneers at the guard and wipes a little trickle of blood that's kind of almost pirouetting off and hanging like that. He goes like that, side eyes the guard, and you notice the guard kind of sneers at him a little bit with a smile, and then he walks on.
Okay.
They go in different areas than you and branch off down a corridor.
Okay.
it seems that you and Sam are quartered up similarly down a hallway that is adjacent and opposed to their stations. The other three guys. When you get there, your number is of your housing unit or your room, your cubicle is A26.
Okay. All right.
So it forked off.
Okay.
Went that way, and you guys, security guard points you down there.
Yeah, I'll throw my duffel into the A26 bunk, and I'll climb in and prop my head on my duffel and begin to examine this pad again, just to make sure that it's functioning to its best of its ability. I will then store it somewhere there on the feet of the bed. Look about this general area, and I'm going to take in whether there's mechanical doors, whether there's exposed piping. I will take in whether there are security cameras exposed. Are there conduits of electricity? Just the general age, style, engineering level of this facility.
As you do so, you do notice something catches your attention, and in the corner you see a small camera has been attached.
Mm-hmm. Attached, or is it built in?
Attached to the wall. It's built in.
Okay.
Yes. Well, it's securely adhered, but it doesn't look like one of the original. But then again, neither did this place. It looks like a Frankenstein patchwork quilt of engineering. So did you hear me? It looks like a Frankenstein patchwork quilt of engineering.
Yeah, the conduit, is the electrical conduit, I mean, is it on a surface level, or is it hidden?
Oh, it's very much surface. There's a lot of it looks like it's been jury rigged, attached after the fact. It's not like a good thing that was constructed.
Okay.
Even a lot of the conduit is broken off, and there's just open wires in two specific areas that you see. Across the top areas of the room where it's just open wirings, right?
Right.
So and you get a little toiletry over to the side, but you're right. The bunker's built into the wall.
Yeah.
There's a small porthole where you can look out.
Yeah.
And see for a little bit, but it's very, very claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
But you do see that there is one area that you're bunkered in, and above you do notice that it could be another area for another bunkmate,
Gotcha.
as it were. So it looks like this area could be like two, but it does have it's like full to capacity with drawers, and it contains something inside of that area that is the upper bunk.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it's kind of built in after the fact.
I'll observe
so
what
you got a room for your own.
Yeah, I'll observe what Sam's doing, but I won't speak to him. I'll just watch to see if he's preparing for bed or what, and break out of my duffel.
Okay, you going out of your room?
No, am I in a room or am I in a bunk?
No. You're in a little cubicle room.
Oh, okay. No, then I'm not. Then I'm not leaving. So my cubicle has its own camera in it.
Oh yeah. And you just see that where this cubicle could facilitate two, but it'd be really tight quarters. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so I have a private cubicle. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I make note of everything in here. I'm not going to unpack right now, as I will start bright and early. I'm not one to organize so much as I'm not one to unpack now. I'm one to unpack as I need what I need. So I will though prepare a dark visor, a sleep mask to make sure that I can cut out
Yeah.
any light sources, and I will try to get sleep for a bright and early start.
Yeah, and that's not a problem because you had very dim light in the room.
Okay.
It's almost like constant like array of shadows. The porthole does have a shutter on it that you can pull it down.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the turn sometimes the shuttle or whatever may emit light,
Right.
and it is near your area. So whenever the shuttle leaves, that's what you noted while you were in there is like a flare light that momentarily lit up your bunker.
Yeah.
So you can shut that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. You do smell pneumatic fluid and hydraulic fluid.
Mm-hmm.
What I meant. So
Okay.
your hand's still wet and your side's still wet a little bit with the slickness in the shuttle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's.
Right
I mean, as a maintenance person in this facility, I imagine I'm never going to be without filth, grease, and fluids and etc. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of them, when you're laying down in the bunk now.
Yeah.
For the night.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's still there's automatically a little restraining things that you have to put on you to keep from floating.
Right. Right.
You do notice that there's little beads of liquid, like in the air.
Yeah.
And you could tell by their consistency that they are pneumatic fluid.
Right.
And you see one of them trailing off. You would know that those, like I said, those shelvings and drawers are a place that contains all of your tools and whatnot.
Okay.
That you would need. But there's obviously something leaking in there or whatever that has been attached. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make note of that. At this point, not going to investigate.
That's fine. Yeah, if you're just going to sleep for the night, when you do, it seems like the night doesn't last but 20 minutes before there's a red flickering in your in a squawking to wake up and get going. It seems to be going it would seem that there's just a wake up regimen, and it's happening everywhere.
Okay.
So it goes on for a period of indefinitely, but there's a button to hit.
Okay.
I'll
swing up, head over to the toilet, relieve myself. I'll take a gander into the mirror, wipe some of the smuck off the mirror, and I will rinse my mouth with some. I'll let the water run a second, rinse my mouth out, spit into the sink, and then I'll garb up with my normal jumpsuit, and I will grab my basic tools. I don't know beyond what I may need but I'll get the standard, most obvious tools, and I'll fix a headlamp. As I'm aware of just where I've been so far in the first day, that the lighting around here is intermittent and it's too dark for somebody in maintenance to work. So I will actually affix a headlamp, knowing that I'll probably need that aided light all the time. So, and then I'll look at the schematics on the wall and trace out with my finger where the maintenance headquarters is here in the facility, and I'll make a note as to where my bunk is to that, and I will head toward the maintenance facility.
Okay. And you noticed earlier when you spit out, normally there's a vacuum tube
Mm-hmm.
that suctions the water back. That wasn't working.
Okay.
And the water just came out and kind of floated everywhere without being vacuumed down into the to the drain. And so, that indefinitely this water be floating around in there. So that's another thing on your agenda that you have to fix.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Another proof of poor repair. But you've attached yourself and you've walked out into the out of your cubicle.
Yeah.
The door slides open.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll notice it slides open. It stops, and then you have to hit it twice. And
So
it
it's
goes
not
back.
electric.
It's
It's not automated.
No. Oh no. I mean, it is. It is. Yeah. It's you have to pedal it, and it'll shut and open.
Okay.
But it's almost like a grinding squeak, and it stops midway, and it
Right.
comes back like it's on a memory reset,
Right.
and then it opens up again. So this door is you didn't notice it when you went in there, but there's a little bit of a jankiness to it.
This is the door to
It
my
does
bunk.
open up.
This is the door to my bunk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, your little cubicle, whatever.
Okay.
So it stopped.
So I'll stop
Reset,
here,
came back.
and and I'll immediately work to rectify that right now. So I'll get out my tools and some oil, and I will look to find whether it's a sensor problem, or if it's a mechanical problem, or if there's something in the actual slide that's stopping it. So I'll clean out the slide. I'll investigate the quality of the metal to see if there's any damage to the metal, to see if that's what's hanging it up, and then I will assess whether if that area is, once it's cleaned out and there's the door itself is if there's any areas that are snagging. If that's the case, then I'll check the sensor to see if the sensor's working.
Yeah, if you're checking, the sensor seems to be working.
Okay.
And you've gotten to a point where you're checking the because it's literally on like tracks.
Yep.
You're like when it comes out. Okay.
Yep.
Now, you notice something peculiar at first when you're digging down in the low light, and then I know you got your headlamp when it lights up there, but it seems like some kind of organic tissue is jammed up in the bottom slide of the thing, and is skewed to where it's smeared across the bottom of the door too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is on the inside of the cabin.
Okay.
Inside of your cabin.
Okay.
All right, so it's wedged down in there, but you've obviously got the tools or whatever.
Well, I'll dig it out, and I'll first pull loose from my tool bag a garbage bag, and I will fish this out with a screwdriver or whatever, and I will look at it at the end of my tool to try to identify if it's a rat or a mouse or something, and then I'll deposit it in the garbage sack that I'm carrying.
But as you're leveraging it out, it kind of pops out and rolls in the air in front of you and goes across, and you can see as say shredded remnants of a finger bone.
Okay.
The bone itself, and is skewed and put aside, and the fingernails half off.
Okay. And
it's probably just right there, but that was wedged in the gap.
Okay.
And smeared along the side, you see a hole like that, right?
Okay,
so
I'll
in front of you.
So I'll use the bag to snatch that out of the air, and then I will go over to my bunk and dig out an old rag, and I'll actually wrap this up separately in a rag, and I'll put it in my overall pocket.
Okay, yeah. Get a little bit of an oily rag is all you can find, like, and then so you'll put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
The soft red light is still going out, and the screeching annoyingly, not really like a klaxon, but a squawk is still. It's been turned off on your PA to your bunk.
Yeah.
But you can hear some of them start to be. It's starting to reduce, as in the rooms and even in the hallway.
Right.
And then as you're doing this and you've been preparing, but that's been going on behind you, right?
Okay.
In the hallway, the doors, some of them slide open. Some people out. You can hear the grumbling. People are shouldering their stuff. It's they've obviously had the same experience that they don't feel like they've had much sleep either, from their countenance and the way they're holding themselves. And
Right.
you can hear Bill around the corner. His voice is very gravelly and recognizable, and you hear him cursing about this damn shithole of a place.
Okay.
Now, the red lights are flashing. In fact, still going on in the hallway, and then it abruptly stops.
Okay.
You've put the finger digit in your overalls, and it stops, and you hear a familiar voice too. The security guard. Well, I have none of that, he says in response to Bill. And it's around that corner, right? It was kind of like categories, kind of a fork where you and Sam went to the right. And you wasn't that far down. You was like 2 rooms down, basically, at the end of the stretch. A1 would be all the way at the end of this hallway that terminates there.
Right.
And comes back. So, everyone up. We're loaded up. We're got to get another day's done. Let's get ready to ride the rocket. And you hear another guy say, it seems like it's Marcus, with a little tint of sarcasm to his voice. Okay. The boots are stepping, and there's a clamping on them. You can hear that still metallic clink, clink, and release of each footfall, a heavily laden footfall, right? And everybody's geared up and walking with shouldering their equipment and coming down the hallway. Still in your bunkered room?
Well, I'm standing in the doorway. I've just fixed the door, removed this obstacle. I'm making sure the door is now sliding open and easily open and shut. So my excuse for being in the hall there, listening and observing, will be checking my door with the sensor as I watch them, come into view from the other tunnel and where they head.
Yeah. Now you see a couple of flakes of the beating liquid that you still see like floating around in, from your spittle in the room, but also there's a couple of red beads too that was pulled out and this fingers that was written out. Okay, so in there, but luckily it's on the inside of the door as you step out and the door shuts. Okay, it's pretty tight quarters, so you have to kind of decide as they're walking past.
Yeah,
the guy nods at you. He's seen your face before, and there's a train of them coming down. Right.
Yeah.
From further on down the terminus of where these habitats are.
Right.
But the security guard is all standing there, and he's got his weapon up and at the ready, right?
Yeah.
And you can see a little stun baton by his hanging off the side, and he's like on through there, and then you'll see like the opening that was to these 2 hallways that tiered off. He's at the opening, but you see another security detail on the outside.
Right.
And he's just walking you through. As people walk through. Right. You're probably about the 5th one since the start to walk through,
Yeah.
You notice Bill side eye again the guard. And again the guard gives him a little sneer as he walks through. Now most of these guys, they're light on their feet, but their feet clamps magnetically to the seal as they walk.
Right.
But the bags kind of float in the air a little bit.
Sure.
And climb down. So they got this almost ethereal walking.
Right.
But the footfalls stand there.
Right.
As they pile out. Now you've already gone through that main breach, and you see 2 security details. They usher you like knowingly in a direction. You're gonna get light up, and you see across the way.
Yeah.
There are stations to where they enter different airlocks to enter different vehicles. Okay.
Different vehicles. Okay.
So Oh, yeah, different. Well, you would know these vehicles, these mining vehicles, are more like bulbulous crews that can fit like three of them in.
Okay.
You can also leave one, and even there's stations on the outside of these vehicles where people can man up. Well, anyway, when you walk over, they gesture toward you to specifically. Your pad too tells you to which where you're disembarking.
Yeah, which I
Okay.
got off the wall earlier in the morning,
Yeah,
where I'm supposed to be going. Right.
yeah. So just scanning that, you know where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to be hit up.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're standing there. You're standing there with like four other guys, and
Miners.
they're all, you don't recognize. Yeah, it looks like a couple of them have been are miners, and one of them looks like a pilot,
Okay.
and the other one, of course, you. But the rest of them, the rest, all of them are miners,
Okay.
pretty much, right?
Okay.
There's one who has a certain insignia on his thing, like he seems to be a chief miner. You know what I mean, or somebody like a team lead,
Okay.
so to speak.
And they're
right?
all going
So
to
in
work
fact,
or coming back.
yeah, no, they're good. They're part of your crew about to head out,
Oh,
right?
gotcha.
So when you get to this platform where you're about to go through the airlock to disembark, and you see the other platforms are being populated by similarly, whatever. But
Yeah.
you're the engineer, and it's directing you specifically to this one, where it looks like there's a little bit of cross pollination with the rest of the crews.
Right.
Like some of them are just going like, "No, go here." You know what I mean? Not even looking at their
Right.
tablets, so to speak.
Yeah.
Some of them didn't even bring them, but you're there, and it says you directly go there. The pilot's there, the team lead. The pilot punches in the access code,
Yeah.
cycles through green, pops open. Everybody starts one at a time. The pilot goes in there. The other side of the airlock is a similar thing, to where he gets in. He floats over. His boots are clinking. He gets into the seat, starts like that, and he starts flipping toggles and knobs or whatever. Like he looks back and what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
All right. But the team lead is already in the airlock, and he starts get suited up. He pauses when he looks at you, your face, and then he looks down at your suit and sees your name, McCallister. Nice to meet you. He seems pretty affable. He sticks his hand out,
This is the chief.
and yeah, I mean, he looks about this. He isn't wearing anything that would denote him from the other miners, other than a little star on his name, right?
Yeah.
A little gold star right beside his name that's been pinned there. And then he says, McCornish, like he has some kind of and you hear a slight Scottish ring, McCornish. And he's frail and thin, and it looks like he's spent a good bit of time.
Okay.
He wheezes a little bit. He goes, "It's nice to have him on board. Seems we got a special job today." And he wheezes a little and holds up his tablet and looks at it, and he goes, "Yes, get you along. We're going to need you on this one." And he looks over to the side, and everybody else has already buckled themselves in.
Right.
Which you do recognize. You do recognize that Marcus, one of the guys, and Jules, you'll know that from his steepled fingers as he's sitting in the corner rocking back and forth.
Okay.
Are there if you enter the cabin.
Okay.
Right. So
I'll nod at McCormish as he talks, but I won't speak. I'll make a note of his name, looking at his lapel, and then I'll find a spot and strap in. I'll pull out my tablet and reference the day's duties to find out, where we're headed and what is expected of, or what I can anticipate may come from this particular set of orders.
Okay, and then McCormick is sitting right across from you, similarly to what the other guard was. It's very tight quarters, almost like a bowl, like a fish bowl type
Yeah.
seating, right? Two of the other guys are standing up, holding on to their handhelds, like in the subway. You know what I mean? Two guys are sitting, and you're sitting down too. But the two standing, you'll see Marcus standing. Jules is sitting there, steepled with it's Jules, Marcus, you, McCormick, the pilot. Okay. McCormick looks at Tabs, the pilot, and he says, "All right, we're all in." As you hear it cycle, and the green light comes on.
Okay.
And then it breaks free.
Right.
And it rocks a little bit, and you feel the upward floating momentum away, like a free float up. The tablet you had flickers a little bit, almost in tandem with the network of the computer.
Sure.
In this mining bulb.
Yeah.
It flickers too, and you feel a hum underneath you, which is very normal. It seems to be working within the parameters of, a specification, at least, thankfully, safety.
Right.
And it starts to float up. Your tablet is flickering. Green comes across it, whatever, and it starts populating, almost synced up with the bulb, what you're going to be doing today.
Right.
And McCormick leans over to you and glances up at the other two guys, but the other two guys have actually got earbuds in, and they're listening to something and kind of humming to themselves lightly, right? Thankfully, you don't have to listen to whatever they're listening to, but he looks up and he goes, "It's pretty interesting, ain't it? What do you think?"
I glance around and I say, "Well, it's pretty typical in early mining technology. So interesting for me is will it keep us alive?"
No, not that, McCallister. Look, and he taps the top of your tablet, reaches across and taps it with his gloved hand, and draws your attention back to that thing that's being populated, and you feel the pod shift, and it starts going off in a direction. You see outside these portholes the other pods that are floating in the air going towards wherever they're going, right? The belt, obviously, or deeper into the belt. This thing is going across the screen that they're unidentified derelict vessel that needs to be identified.
Yeah, my eyebrows, as I read this, my eyebrows raise, and I look over the top of the thing at McCormick. Oh, yeah. Unidentified. What do you mean? You just mean that it's an old. We just don't know what company it was attached to. Correct? What mining company? What mining building facility? It's just. What do they mean? So yeah, we just got to identify.
I don't know much about it other than the fact that I heard and some of my men saw that the other day when we were out. It's been about 3 or 4 cycles that they noticed a vehicle amongst the asteroids that had been laying there, just whatever. So there doesn't seem to be any visual identifiers on it. It seems, they said, scarred in a way. By scarring, you mean that like hit or damaged to some effect. But it seems to be without power and adrift. So the company wants to see just just what this is. But until you showed up, we haven't had an engineer to do this. So,
well, if it's
you're here and we're gonna crack this open.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it's intact, I'll get it running.
Yeah, there's very little information on your pad other than what he's pretty much relaying to you now, other than the fact of the dimensions of the vehicle and what supposed year from the descriptions of the vehicle. You know what I mean? And you see a schematic, like a grid schematic of the vehicle that starts coming up in DOS prompt like that, almost like a printer that fills out.
Sure.
Because they'd sent a drone out there to scan it, and it seems similar to the layout of the space station that you just left, that intermediary space station, yet smaller. So it has that little bicycle-like look where it orbits like that, but there's a center part that propels it forward and keeps the outside. Just from your mechanical knowledge of looking at it, right?
Yeah.
And also there are the spokes that lead down to the outside. You can see that they're, you know, from your history that you would I say history, but this vehicle could be like 20 years old at least, maybe 25 years old, right?
Okay.
So it's a little bit kind of out of date, but it seems to you like half the solar panels are open. So it's more of a solar ship. And the fact, like in the spoke areas, it would fill out with the solar cells until it rounded like that. It's driven by the main impulse engine in the cockpit, which is in the center. And then it goes on the outside where people, where the rest of the crew stayed.
Okay.
But it's derelict, and it's half. You see that half of the solar cells are extended, but then they're not fully, and it's just laying there. There's not even a beacon blinking on it. Is what the thing says, which is really odd, and that would go from the backup batteries. It should last for multiple years. You know what I mean? So, and there's been no sign of SOS from that area or anything. So. And it seems scarred, and it has indicators on there where it looks like it had taken hits or damage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of examine it, study it, take in all that information while I've got this thing working. Yeah. Okay, and then
this is going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, it seems to me though there might be more pressing matters. Getting that facility we just left up to snuff would be where I would start, or they're gonna end up in a tragic accident with a lot of dead miners. But I'm not the boss.
Well, we face death on a daily basis out here. Every cycle, you never know what happens. There's I lost between us. It looks both ways. Lost 2 men. He always says this gleefully. Lost 2 men in the last. The last 30 cycles. As far as
while he's talking to me, I'm examining his face and his neck, his exposed skin. Am I seeing any tattoos?
Yeah, you do see like up his neck, something come up right there in a glint. But the suits that you know you're wearing can function as spacesuits too.
Yeah.
And the nylon and the neoprene, everything. And the guys, when you hear this, there are helmets suited up behind them, hanging behind them at the level. And whenever they get to a certain area, that they can attach them, and there's the collars where can it be attached, right? So after a little bit, while you're reading this, and he says this somewhat, like I said, gleefully, almost humorously, he alone has lost 2 men in the last 30 cycles. You can't say this is a company where like that there's a record for that, but all that's buried anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep it running. So anyway, he says this and leans back a little bit, and he goes, "Tabs, how long we got? Let's get there." And then Tab goes, "It's a little off course, but we'll get there soon. Just hold your horses, Cornish. Doing what I can. We'll get there." The other guys are still just kind of bobbing their head to the earbuds they got, like that. Now, Jules is still kind of rocking back and forth. He doesn't have any earbuds or anything. He just hadn't said much of nothing. Like he looks really frail and emaciated and whatever like that. You can almost see really defined cheekbones, and his face was structured, and it's scraggly beard, like he can't really fully grow.
Yeah.
Grow a beard.
Yeah.
Okay. After a bit, you float in, and he goes. Tabs turns around and goes, "All right, we're here." Okay. You guys get suited up, and then McCornish jabs the guy, and he like that, and takes his earbud out and whatever, and he looks around and he goes, "Okay, we're all right." And then he punches his buddy right across there, which that's Marcus. Well, no, Marcus isn't there, but Bill and this new guy punches him. Suited up, gestures toward the helmet. They grab him and they start putting him on. They're just back and forth as their boots are adhering to it, and one by one they turn between you. McCornish is already kind of suited, moving out of the way a little bit to let them between y'all two, where the opening is for the airlock. And McCornish stands up and he goes, "All right, I'll let y'all in. Beep, 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 beep. Got your radio on?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then the door opens up, and you see that airlock, that protrusion, it's almost like a hamster ball, with the extra little section, is still attached to it. And they both walk in there and grab not even handhelds, but the piping, whatever, conduit.
Yeah.
As they steady themselves or whatever and hold on. "We'll see you on the other side." And he punches it, the buttons, and it shifts and it starts to cycle through. And you hear a hiss as the back door, and then those two float out.
Right.
They grab the handhold, and there are on this bulb, this fish bowl is what the guys will call it. There are rails that they keep themselves on. It's almost like two guys on a trash truck, you know what I mean, on the other side, and they're like that. And they've got the backpacks too. They're rather slender. They're kind of low profile. Right. But when they get in and they latch tethers to the outside of the fish bowl. Yeah. As it was. Now, Jules starts rocking back a little bit more forward, almost erratically. And starts kind of whining and humming and holding his ears. Seems like he's in a little duress. McCornish looks over his shoulder at him, does like that, and all right, Tabs, what are you seeing out there? And then you see out the portholes of the side of this bowl, the Bill and the other guy float past and going out in front, right? There's also out the front, because you can look right out where where Tabs is and see what he sees, right? Yeah. Just look out there. You'll see them floating out, but you also see two arms raise up, right? So there's two arm attachments on the front of this bulb. Yeah. As it goes down, and it'll drop down in front of. When it turns, it alters. You see this ship, this derelict ship, come into view. Okay. Right. Yeah. Asteroids are floating behind it, and one of them's in front of it to the side. There's no beacon on, no attempts for life. You're ascertaining that it's hard to get any kind of a clear, definitive look at what possibly scarred it. Whether it was weaponry, whether it was rocks, or who knows. Right. but it does look like a significant portion of the left area is cut off of the cylinder.
Okay, so
it looks like probably about 1/8 of that tube area,
yeah,
the cycles, and it's slowly turning, right? So you see the pivot, and you see the reflections of the solar,
yeah,
solar array as it goes by and bounces off. But that's when it turns into view, and you see about 1/8 of that tube has been like ripped open
okay,
and shot through.
okay,
The guys are floating out in front, and he drops down a little bit, and in due course, McTavish is already up there in the cockpit area, rubbernecking and lifting up the little mic and barking into it. And he looks back and he says, "Oh my God, can you shut him up?" He looks at Jules, and Jules is rocking back, and he quietens down a little bit. And he goes, "McCallister, what do you think of this? Come up here. Get out of his way, Jules." No, it's really tight, but you can fit in there. Like
yeah, I approach and look out the window. I examine it. I say, well, clearly something ripped a piece of this ship away. Whether it was, and it looks from what I can see, could be from asteroid collision, could be a collision with something else, could be an explosion. I can't tell from here what caused it, but I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be operational. You
can't get it up and running. What the hell did it come out here for?
With a whole pie, a whole piece of this will ripped, gone? No, probably not. I would think, unless we can somehow lock down bulkheads to compress it, we can't generate. But I mean, it's conceivable if I can get the engines going, but it won't have any gravity, and it won't have any simulated atmosphere as far as oxygen, etc. If you're telling me the ship has got a piece torn out of it,
well, we're going to have to, if they want us to tow it back later on, they'll let us know. But otherwise, we need to get on there and get a full readout about our situation here. And he goes, he looks at that torn out piece. He goes, "Holy shit, they didn't tell me about that." And he kind of looks paranoid around, like almost rubbernecking and looking out the sides for some kind of a phantom enemy that could be floating out there. You know what I mean?
I will say this. That's how we can get into the ship. And I just kind of point at the damage, and we can just go right through that hole into the ship.
There's no porthole on this son of a bitch. And he's looking around. And during this time, there really isn't. There is, in the center where the piloting mechanism, that you could attach there. If you could, you know what I mean? Link up there with a docking mechanism to the center of this. But like you're saying, as far as the tube, there isn't on this older model, there isn't any kind of way. But you can go directly through there if you wanted to freehand it, you know what I mean? And try to enter. So maybe you can work on that. But he goes, they don't know this particular. So he goes, "Well, all right, Taps, you heard the man. Let's try to get in there and see if we can board this bitch." So then he goes, "All right, sir." He goes, "You guys here? We're going for a little ride." And you're not so far off, but you hear, and he puts a little thruster to it, and the guys, you can hear him over the intercoms. He's got the Vox open, right? Of Bill and Joe Blow as they pull taut on the things. And you can almost see them corkscrew around a very dangerous mechanism to you know what I mean? But they're pulling on the tethers. You see them passing the doors there. "Hang on, guys. You better hold on. I told you to grab onto this rocket." Anyway, he drops down a little bit, and you see the arms go out as he's descending down to this open area. And they're trying to make it just came into view to where you noticed it, right? So he's trying to meet up to where it cycles in, to where he meets up but he gets there a little bit too soon.
Mm.
And he's saying, oh my God, slow down, slow down.
Right.
Okay. Now, the rockets are being, like, the propulsion is being shot out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear a scream. A scream from one of the two guys that were on the back. And they had more or less safely secured themselves, you thought, or they thought, to the handrails on the back, like riding on the back. But because of the erratic movements, it seems, you saw the legs flail out at one time, and then the rocket jet off, and then you see an explosion, silent explosion, but a scream, and then it's immediately deadened, and you see half the leg of you don't know, one of the two to your left blown off as the thruster caught it, and then he lets go, and he's floating out on that tether. And then the Tabs says, damn it, Tabs! I told you, not another one.
Yeah, I watch, Eyes Wide Open.
Well, so calm down a little and bite it like a pincer thing, and then the other arm catches out, and it shudders as everybody on the ship, just like gravity, back and forth.
Right.
And kind of slams into the side, and then the gravity of the velocity and speed starts to match, but it takes a toll. Okay,
right.
So you hear Marcus come through the Bill come through the overtone. You recognize his voice. What the hell are you doing? You almost killed me out here. And then you see him beating on the side of the porthole as he floats up a little bit. To your right, you know what I mean? Because he got cut loose, and he's floating almost on the inside of this open tube,
right,
to where this habitat was. Okay, so he floats on. He hits the front of the thing and bounces off a little bit and goes back into it. And then McCormick's just like, just hold on, Bill. We're getting it stabilized here. Stay here. We'll send out McCallister and Jules. Get up, get suited up, boy. He looks down. You tell this time when Jules looks up, he's really young, right? Looks like he's having a little bit of maybe a PTSD or something, traumatic experience back, whatever. He gets up reluctantly, and then McCormick goes over and shoves him. Get up, get your helmet on. We're one man down. We need you out there. Don't be effing around. So he gets up, and he's shaking like crazy, and he's trying to put his helmet on. He looks over to you, and they're up there. If you ain't seen them.
Yeah, no, I'm watching him carefully, and then once I see he gets secured, I'll secure my helmet. Okay.
If you're securing the helmet or whatever, and then after a moment, McCormick walks back there, and he stands by there, and he, get on, y'all. Make sure you latch on. Don't be like that asshole out there. And somebody cut him loose.
Right.
God's sake. We don't need him tethered on here still. So he punches the thing, and it goes through the cycle and opens up.
Okay.
And he kind of almost shoves Jules in, right? As he stumbles in and catches himself into that little airlock area.
Okay.
You go in right behind him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm following through. Yeah, tools.
It's shut. Yeah, it's shut. You got your tools or whatever like that, and he goes through the porthole.
Right.
You hit crackle or whatever, and he turns around, and he's mouthing some words to Tabs, and then Tabs goes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are we good?
Affirmative.
Okay. All right, McCormick. Go ahead and cycle through and let him out. McCormick hit some more buttons, and you see the other side, and just space opens up in front of you, right? On the other side.
Yeah, I immediately hook in and exit the vehicle, working around to where he's to where the ship would have made contact with this derelict
Jules
vehicle.
about had it with your shit. Get out there. And Jules almost like he's couch out or he's cornered in, and he reluctantly pulls out and comes out behind you, like does a double grasp toward the thing, and over side-eyed and it hooks his, uh, lanyard up, be
Yeah.
tethered to it.
And I turn to Jules. Jules, cut loose the body. Give you something to do.
He looks out there and it floats or whatever and almost wraps around him. And he reaches over. He struggles with it a little bit, but he unlatches it. It's almost like he was saying the long goodbye, and then lets it go, and
Right.
you see the body float away. Now, at this corner, you're on the side where Bill is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear Bill come over. This damn assholes almost killed us again. And you see him come out in your view around the front of the fishbowl. As he floats out, he goes, "I think I see an opening down there."
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're looking for, Chief? He's looking at you.
No, I'm examining our ship to see if there's been any damage since he kind of racked it into this. So I'm first examining our ship to see if there's any damage.
All right. Have your way at it.
Mm-hmm.
You need me to do anything? Just let me know. Till then, I'm free falling out here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll just move around this ship, looking to see if there's any potential problems that I have to deal with before, from his shitty piloting.
Yeah, you don't see. Luckily, you don't see much damage at all.
Mm-hmm.
Much new damage at all.
Mm-hmm.
You do see the rending, a slight crimp in the arm that had bit into the habitat,
Mm-hmm.
The tubal habitat, and that looks like it might need to be straightened out, and a couple of broken wires on that. But till then, it looks like it's functioning, and it's pincered on to the side, so it looks like it's got a foundationally good hole.
Yeah. So I'll float up in front of the pilot's window, so I can look right through into the pilot's face and McCornish. And I'll tell him, lucky for you, the ship appears to be in pretty good shape. And then I'll glance back over my shoulder to the gaping hole in the derelict vehicle, and I'll say, well, check this out. And I'll tell Bill, why don't you lead?
Yeah, might as well. They always send me in first, huh? I'm the most expendable. And he said, that little rat face Fink with you? And
no, I'm going to tell Jules, you stay here in case we need help getting back to the ship. So I tell Jules just to stay attached here.
Yeah, he at first he's like coming in, and then he looks at you almost thankfully and rescinds a little bit and nods his head like eagerly and holds on to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like that, and you hear a whisper, "Good luck." Mm-hmm. First time he ever said anything.
And I kind of give him a thumbs up and a wink, and then I'll spin in space and follow Bill toward the gaping hole in this ship.
Now you are fixed essentially with the arms of this fishbowl to the corners of this ragged tear. Okay, so it doesn't take you long, and then you get to the end of your tethers.
Yep.
You have to break free to be able to access. You do see a bulkhead.
Right.
That kid with the terminal on it. It looks like it had been some kind of a rather large, probably what you would ascertain is some kind of a major room, like a conference room or whatever. It doesn't look like it's some kind of a lot of communication or gear, but it looks like that it was utilized for that, from what you can see, from the markings and from the writing on the thing.
Right.
And it looks, it's definitely obviously from human origin, right?
Yeah, I will.
But the language is English, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So it's, on the thing you see on the placards.
Yeah, I assess the. I make note of that, the names or placards, but I assess from the bulkhead technology that I'm going to have to take off a panel and use a hand crank to open up this door. I'm not going to attempt to use the button pads, right?
Okay.
So I'll get out a tool and I'll take off the panel, let it float off into space, and then I'll start to hand crank this door open.
All right. He Bill lets you do it for a little bit before he chimes in. You need some relief there, Doc?
No. It's my job, so I'll keep cranking until the bulkhead door.
He looks kind of
open.
impressed. He looks kind of impressed
Mm-hmm.
because even though, I mean, you're moving something in space, but there is some resistance to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
the two objects, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
now I'm going to open it just wide enough. I'm going to stop cranking the bulkhead door open just wide enough that we can pass in and out easily.
Yeah. You do get it. That's what I was exactly saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, according to the roll, it gets about halfway to where you can squeeze in. You both can't go on the side. It's, you know, a relatively wide opening.
Mm-hmm.
But it affords you to where if you go into the side. Now, I will say, like when you had to break away from your tethers, you're free floated, but you know you got a low profile
Mm-hmm.
backpack on there
Mm-hmm.
that can let you, that does release gases that let you kind of steer yourself, right?
Sure. Okay.
Through your glove. So he's got that, and it takes some manipulation of that,
right?
Ultimately, to get you through that door and slip through. Okay,
right.
Not just your body, but a little extra force to, you know, to add a little bit of butter to pop through because it's really tight.
Right.
As you do, it doesn't seem like it's ripped or jagged. You know, your space suit doesn't seem like it's that damage to you. Bill's coming through,
Mm-hmm.
and half the reason he's impressed from you is you still got a little bit of body stamina or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell he's a little bit emaciated, and as such, you can ascertain that his suit that was given to him has gotten a lot more leave in it.
Gotcha.
And when he comes through, you can't hear it outside, but you can hear it on the inside of his box. It's open.
I can hear.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
It's, okay. He says, "Oh my God!" and he's patting himself like that as he goes through, and it's loose fabric.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of caught on something.
Yeah.
You know, a jagged edge or something. They got pulled into a pinhole.
Okay.
As he spirals in and floats toward you, and his erratic hands are causing out of his backpack.
Right.
And he bumps right into you and pushes you back a little bit.
Okay.
So you've almost caught him.
Yeah. I'll carry him in, and I'll begin to look for where he's breached his suit, and I'll start while looking with one hand where he's breached his suit. I'll be getting out some sealant to find and seal the hole.
Okay.
So
you start
I'll
doing
go
that?
through my maintenance bag and grab up some sealant and start looking for the hole. Calm down, Bill. Calm down. I'll find it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of spinning him,
You're
looking for the hole.
Yeah. You can do that, and when you stop hearing it hiss, using your, you know, that's when you know your hands over it.
Yeah.
So you kind of quickly assess it,
Mm-hmm.
and you find it in your bag quick enough to put it on there. However, he's lost consciousness now.
Yeah.
You can hear faint breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll spin him
He's kind of
around
just
so I
laying
can
here.
see his face, and I'll see that he's, and I'll just kind of softly shake him. If he doesn't come to, I'll attach.
When you softly shake him, he's still out of it. It looks like his face is still in a pain anguish, but then his face just starts to release that.
Yeah.
Not in a death, but you can hear his slight breathing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, excitability. He literally almost petting himself.
Yeah.
But you don't think, you're no doctor, but you don't think that he's, you know, and you can see the levels of oxygen
Mm-hmm.
in his tank.
Yeah.
And it's around 62% now, right?
Okay.
So he's still got some he didn't lose. He
Right.
didn't lose a lot. But it may take him a
Sure.
little bit before you jostle him.
Yeah, I will actually fasten him. I will hook him to a point. I will actually affix him to the ship,
Yeah.
so he can float there, lay there, whatever. But he can't float away. And then I'm going to
Gotcha.
turn around into this room and turn on my lamp and look about this room that we've entered.
Yeah, it lights up. The only little bit of a light afforded you was the light coming in from the bowl itself, from the front two lamps that were spilling in through that little small crack that you made to get through the door. and it does, but your headlamp comes on and you turn around, as you just said, and you'll see a swath of like floating, and you felt like these little bumps. There was one good thing when he finished passing and passed out, he stopped messing with his hand, so it wasn't much to fight against, right?
Right.
But while he was flailing around too, you noticed that you actually wasn't just him, but it was like bits of furniture and things that wasn't adhered and equipment that was floating that you bump up into. This seems to be an area of a recreational sort.
Okay.
A lot of it you see is you recognize the health facility,
Sure.
as it were, but a lot of things, the restraining bands, different things like that, are floating around, kind of willy nilly in the air, as well as different other pieces of equipment that could be attached, even some medical equipment and some data tablets similar to what you got are floating in the air, right? As your light just illuminates all this is what you kind of see,
Right.
And so, but beyond that, you see another bulkhead,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I'm looking for bodies. Any bodies? Skeletons? Bodies? Anything?
Okay, you don't see any. Okay, you don't see anything immediately, all right? You do after walking around for a moment amongst this. If you take, you know what I mean, like assessing it and looking around in the corner, you see an individual, or what was an individual that is wedged behind a piece of stationary machinery or exercise equipment.
Yeah.
It's kind of been lodged there and pinioned between, almost like strapped by the cord as part of this machine, like it got wedged in.
Yeah.
As the machine broke apart. Okay.
Okay.
So it's laying there, but it's not decomposed so much as it is just eviscerated of all liquids. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just been, it's had space affected.
Sure.
You know?
Okay,
So
I'll make note of that, and I'll
well.
I'll actually tell McCornish we've got one victim here, and I'll be telling them as I observe what I'm seeing. It looks like I'm in the exercise room, and I'll move over to the bulkhead, and I'll examine first if there's any indication of whether there's atmosphere on the other side of that door. If there's an indicator that would tell me that was secured.
Yeah, you do, and you'll know that you see whether it's secure or not by basically the red or the green, and you do see a green. So this part wasn't compromised, as it were.
So then I reach around into these floating objects and I grab a metal weight and I bang on the door. I bang on it to like SOS.
You can't hear squat on your side, but
no.
If there's atmosphere on the other side, that it'll be resounding.
But I hold a hand to it after I'll bang standard SOS.
You do see a porthole through there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're banging, you see through the as the light penetrates the room in the gloom, it's still dark in there. But you do see on the far end, it looks like there's some kind of a desk. Now, you got to realize that the room is like a little bit, like you're going in the sideways, right? So the bottom of it is that way. So you see this desk off in the corner. You see tables and chairs. You see an area where it looks like file cabinets and whatnot are all stored. So it looks this kind of a situation. Now there also is you feel like you're in a side well room of this, but there's also a walking alley on the inside terminus. You know what I mean, like a hallway.
Okay.
But you're going in through the main rooms area from main
Right.
room
Gotcha.
to main room, and that's what you see. You don't see anything other than the dark. You can't see much.
With that, I will begin to open this door, either by spinning the hatch or trying to punch in a standard code that we might.
Yeah. Now, yeah, you can. You know that if you open this, it's going to blow the hatch,
Yeah.
as it were, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be anywhere near this.
Right.
If it's pressurized.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, what I'm saying is to the right, you see,
Mm-hmm.
is an open like hallway, basically. This and another door leading out into this hallway.
On this,
That would-
on my side of the room.
In the room, you're
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, in the room you're currently in.
Leaving the gymnasium.
yes.
So there's a door in
Yes.
here leaving the gymnasium to a
But there is also
hallway.
a door from the gymnasium.
Oh, well,
into
then
that
I'll
door.
swim over there. I'll swim across, and I'll go
Yeah.
through that open door into the walkway, into the hallway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when you do that, it opens up. In the hallway doesn't have any kind of atmosphere in it.
Right.
It's been open to all.
It's breached. Right. It was breached, and it's
Exactly.
decompressed. Gotcha.
Exactly.
So I'll move around this
Yeah.
hallway, around the hallway, and I'll come to the first door of the room I was looking in, and I'll see if it has a label on it. You know, what was this room?
Yeah, it says administrator, staff, different thing. It seems like an administrative area.
Okay, and I'll
right?
I'll
But not
continue on.
for all the personnel.
I'll continue on to the next door. Meanwhile,
Okay.
I will be relaying verbally.
That's
McCornish,
what I mean, when you-
I'm at the administrative door. I'm not going in here. I'm going to keep going forward. I'm trying to get to, the engine. I'm trying to get to the piloting quarters somewhere. So I'm going to keep moving until I come to a hallway or another door that.
Yeah. Now, if you shut Vox off, you turn it back on, you're going to hear to tell them this, to relay it. You're going to hear always with him, and then you hear and you recognize the same
Jules.
sound from Jules.
Yeah.
And it's very high pitched. I'm going to kick his, and you hear McCornish. I'm going to see that. I swear to you, I'm going to, like that. And then Tab kind of comes in. We hear you. We're tracking you, McCallister. Keep doing what you're doing. See if you can find.
So I'll keep
find
moving. Again, I'm kind of perpendicular to the actual floor, right? As this is on its side, so I'm kind of moving perpendicular to where I would walk.
Yeah.
Right. If you
Yeah.
were walking it, I'm kind of floating along parallel
Gotcha.
with the floor, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'll come to the
gotcha.
next door and then positions myself to read what the next door, if there's a label on this doorway.
Yeah, the rotation of this sphere isn't gravity based. It's
Right.
very very slow, so it isn't generating any kind
Right.
of
Right.
any kind of artificial gravity, as it were. As you peer into like the next room,
Mm-hmm.
you see like darkness inside of the room. It's hard to make out much anything as it lights up, but before as you're looking in and kind of scanning it, you see something to your left, as far as like two open red beads, like eyes of a sort, and they blink and they open up, and then almost you hear and see underneath these two red beads this split of red, and it starts opening up as a mouth would, a maw.
Mm-hmm.
And as it opens up, you start to hear over the Vox, Jules starts screaming, and McTavish is just getting to him. And what's going on with him? And you hear blood, as you can tell that he's having some kind of a seizure, as it was. It would appear, you know what I mean? He's just thrashing about, and McTavish just trying to get him. And he goes up to a high pitch. It pops, and your audible just stops, and you see that mouth slam shut right time it does. Okay, but you're right on the outside of the store, and then the eyes go dark, and almost like a draw of line that draws away path. You know what I mean?
All right. So I'll call out to Tabs and McCornish to see if I get any kind of feedback on the Vox. McCornish, you there? Tabs, what's going on? You there?
Look at here. So break down. Jules, hold on. Trying to reestablish, and then it breaks off.
Okay.
It's nothing but white noise.
So I'll at this point I'm going to want to make visual contact on the ship and see what's going on. So I'll begin to quickly backtrack the way I came back into the recreational room, back to the open damaged area, and to see where Bill's at, see if Bill's okay, and I'll look out to see what the hell's going on with Jules and McCornish.
Okay. As you're backtracking through that area, and you go back in that, back into that room, and Bill is, you enter it, and when you walk in, the first thing you notice when you're stepping in from the angle is, not even meaning to, but there's two, where this individual on the floor was, you see its eyes pop open and its mouth pops open, and they're red, and its maw is like red, blood red, almost like it illuminated red.
This is the person I'd seen crushed between the equipment and the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and it was basically hollowed out, eviscerated, and it opens it. You can't hear. You just hear another high pitch to where it was punctuated by, by Tabs trying to get in contact with you, and then the white noise is going crazy, and then it goes Jesus, pop, and then the mouth shuts open, and the eyes are still there, and you see the body twist and grab at the wires trying to move it, but it's pinioned somewhat. Okay. So it's flailing about almost in a spasmic way too.
Okay.
And reaching out like
so I'll look around here. Not saying anything. I'll look around for a dumbbell, like a 25-pound dumbbell, and I'll pick it up.
Okay, as you're looking around,
I'll position it, with the head of the dumbbell, my other hand on the other end, and then I quickly hit my jetpack to launch myself over and just try to obliterate its head with this dumbbell.
Okay.
Impact it with my jetpack, my body, and this dumbbell into its head.
Yeah, you do know that the dumbbells are magnetized. You know what I mean, as far as that. So a lot of the magnetic, you're pulling against that magnetic.
Yeah, I just want something that's not my body. I just need something that's not me to crush its skull. I don't want to do it with my hands or my suit. I want to do it with an object. So I don't care how heavy it is. I'm going to use the jetpack on my pack to give me momentum to launch myself.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying the space things don't weigh that much. But a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
hazmat,
I don't care. I
but
just, yeah, right. I mean, I'm not using
I,
it as a weight, but yes, yeah, just as an object that's big enough to crush its head. Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm bringing it out for the purpose of when you do to lift it and then you start to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when it comes down, it adheres itself to the equipment that's separated. Like it kind of redirects your swing, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So it still hits the individual, but it's like clanked in there and slid up against the other equipment, right?
Gotcha.
And then it turns over and it kind of almost double smacks it, right?
Yeah.
So the side of this individual's head has been crushed and it goes smack,
Right.
and like that, and it twists his neck. And if you could hear it crack, you would,
Yeah.
right?
Gotcha.
But it's like that. That's still that one red eye, and it's clambering toward its own head like that and reaching out toward you.
Okay.
Now you're able to back up off this
Mm-hmm.
this thing as it's still going.
Okay.
You severely damaged it, but not like
Right.
you're
Yeah. So
expecting, right?
I'll fish around for yet another object. A
Well,
weight pole or something, and attempt to bash out the other eye.
as you're fishing around, you should know that what you didn't hear or see or notice, but initially to your left,
Mm-hmm.
because it was in the further right corner, but to your left where you first entered
Mm-hmm.
this place, you see out the light that's coming from the fishbowl, sort of erratic and piercing through that opening that you made
Mm-hmm.
previously, where Bill was tethered to and floating. Some of the light is erratic. Could be Bill, but then again, when you look, you see out the periphery of your side, you see him shaking, and then the earpieces come back online for a second, and it's broken. It's white noise, but you hear another. And when you see this over to the side, you see Bill's face. He's shaking, he's shuddering as he's clamped down to the floor. And he opens his eyes and they're red, and his maw is like red when it opens up.
Mm.
All right. So when he does this scream, the cracks in the glass that was already there on his faceplate break open to float out.
Okay.
And then, almost like implode, but with his scream, it comes in, but that scream echoes, pierces your ears, and then it cuts off.
Mm-hmm.
You see on the outside, it shifts back and forth. The fishbowl lights
Mm-hmm.
on the outside, and just like horrifically like magnifies his presence as he starts stepping forward, clunk, and toward you and reaching out. Right.
Mm. Okay.
So, now with this tethered link that he can probably reach you. So, but somewhat because of the room and where he's walking,
Yeah.
that he's inhibited, and this line is not as long as it could be if it was just
Right.
as
Right.
flies. Right.
Okay.
So some of the equipment still adhered to the floor.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'll use my pack to kind of jettison myself back to the corner exit door and get distance between me and Bill, and then I'll watch to see how far he goes as he tries to come toward me.
Okay. As you jettison back, he shudders, almost like he's in the convulsive state too, and almost like he's gasping for air as his mouth opens up too, and that maw opens up, and his eyes, you can see, are right now, the eyeballs are not there.
Right.
It's like
Right.
two,
Yeah. Sure.
you know what I mean? But there's still a redness coming out
Mm-hmm.
as he screams, and he shudders, but picks up and rockets himself on an unerring, uncontrolled almost trajectory right toward you.
Okay.
And he crashes into you right before you hit that
Okay.
hit that area. And it's almost like he tangles and whips around, so you're now tangled up in his lanyard.
Okay.
Okay? So he's holding on to you
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to grab hold of your head. You're still in your thing.
Sure.
And so he's holding his head to come down and scream in your face.
Right.
About whatever he's trying to do.
Right. I will. I'll pull from my tool belt a wrench, and since he's blown out his helmet and his face mask, I'll try to drive this wrench right into his mouth. Full power.
Yeah, you don't get it into his mouth. You slip by, tear the rid the side of his, jaw open as you go like that, and it opens up. His jaw slacks a little bit, but he's still coming down, and he's trying to headbutt.
And I'll leave the wrench stuck in his head, and I'll reach around to my tool belt, grabbing another hammer, and I'll bring it over the top, and trying to crash the front of his skull down into his eyes. So trying to hammer down his skull into the eye sockets.
Okay. Now, when you're doing this, like I said, and he opened his mouth like he's gasping for air. When he does this again, not only do you hear the high pitch, the white noise drop in, and then the high pitch, and then it pops, but it's like it pops in your ear and in your mind too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it dazes you uncontrollably for a second, and almost like it's like that white noise goes in your mind, and all you can see is like it's like an ice pick just went into your head, right?
Right.
But fortunately, not before you fully make contact and bring it down in a last bit effort, and you do crack open his like skull, just like you said, and delve into his head, and it breaks loose, and he's pulled off of you, and he's just screaming indirectly everywhere. The white noise is still popping.
Right.
But he's let go of you, and he's not grabbing his head, but he's just flailing around like spasmodically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll shake off this splitting pain, and I'll actually turn my Vox off. At this point, I click my Vox off, so I shut out any external communications. And then I will try to kick this guy away from me toward the door, the outside door, and exit into the hall.
He's bucking uncontrollably, but it's like his mental facilities, directions, everything's kind of out. He's like that, but it's kind of easy for you to pirouette out of him, just enough to where you're not roped up, as it were. And so you jettison, and right behind you, he's still flailing and hitting different things.
Right.
And almost gets like one arm wrapped up into those bands and whatever like that as you get past him and you work your way through that opening.
And then I'll just head down the hall until I'm going to work my way through this hallway until I can come to the doors that state, engine room or pilot's quarter, cockpit.
You're going back into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you go back out to the hallway, you go down there. You don't hear anything since your Vox is off. The splitting headache is being a little bit of a distraction to you.
Yeah.
Your light is opening up a certain view, 30 foot or so down this continuing wash around the corner type thing. You get to a point to where you see a tubular like encasement in the center or to the side of the stuck of the wall of the hallway, right? And you do realize that is a way to go to the center of the ship, if you know what I mean, to go up the spoke, as it were.
Yeah, well, that's my intention is to get to the cockpit or to the engine room, one of the two, which I know is in the center of this vehicle. both the engines and the cockpit. So I'll approach that area, and is that I will examine whether there is a door there sealed, or whether it's just an open hallway.
It's the door is half open itself, right?
Okay.
Like it's stopped halfway in mid, so it's an open tube elevator.
Mm-hmm.
You know that there's a working access above it.
Yeah.
There is no power.
No.
But
no.
you know that above you there is an opening to where you can go up and manually ascend.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the center.
Yeah. I'll be going through my mind other vehicles like this from my history. Vehicles like this that I've worked on in the past or was trained on in all my years, and trying to remember where the emergency power core might be that would allow me to send out a signal, you know,
like a beacon.
No, a beacon, yes, but I'll change. I want to change the code for the beacon.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, I think it's a solar vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
The cells are only halfway out.
Right.
It actually hadn't recharged its battery in who knows how long, or been able to receive.
Well, that's
any amount of sunlight.
Right. So so I'll go to work attempting to rewire directly this. I will actually go to the conduits, tear loose the conduits, or work loose the conduits with my tools, and find
I guess I'm asking, are you going to send that to the main? What I'm saying is, you know, the main area, the engine bay, everything else that's aligned with it is in the center hub.
Yes.
But you would have to climb up that spoke to get to it. So
yes, but what I need is I just need one solar panel to power enough to set an alarm beacon that would beep indefinitely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look along the way for a conduit and identify a solar panel conduit, electrical cord.
Gotcha.
Right? So I'll crack it open and I'll look at the white wire, green wire, red wire, blue wire. You know, and identify which one of these would be solar panel wires.
Yeah, there's going to be operatable from the center area is what I'm saying. You're going to have to send, not from the not from that area outside, but you need to go up to be able to ascend that and even get any of those in a position of working. But you can totally do what you're saying.
Right.
You just need to ascend that manually. But right now the elevator's down.
Right.
So that's what you're looking at. As long as you can open it. It's still tubed right up in there, and there's handholds to make your way up.
Okay.
So if you break that open above you, it opens up kind of like a portal of a sub, right? Mm-hmm. And you see the handhelds going all the way up to the center.
Yep.
There's not much gravity at all.
Yeah, I'll start moving quickly.
Really slow, but
I'm going to start moving quickly. Yeah.
Even toward the center, the lighter it gets, and almost you can just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it makes short work of it,
and
then you get to the top, and then there is a similar entrance to the top of this area where the cockpit, where the engine room, and where the main ordnance is, as you just entered, right?
Right.
There's no elevator there, but you come up into an empty tube.
Yeah.
And it is half open itself.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So squeezing through there and stepping out, you see an array of accessible areas that you recognize.
Right.
In full accordance to be able to access the solar panels.
Yeah.
So everything that you said before, this is the area that you're working on those.
Right. And I'm going to bypass a battery and tear loose the wires and jury rig the solar panel directly to the main terminal, just to send out a beacon code.
Okay, that doesn't take you that long at all to recalibrate and reset where this energy's going.
Yeah, I'll test the wires.
Displacing it across the whole area.
Yep.
And one panel, you can almost hear a small hum and lights flickering on. It's feel it the vibration
Yeah.
more than anything.
Right.
But out the side, you can see that panel unroll itself. Okay, and go across, and then it attaches to the next spoke, as it were.
Right.
In just one panel.
Right.
It isn't all of them.
No. Yeah. Well, I only want enough to generate enough power for a beacon. That's it.
Yeah.
So once I know I've got enough that'll generate a continued radio signal.
Well, this is what I'm about to tell you, because it's been more beneficial than you anticipated. The lights, it starts flickering, and the lights,
right,
similar to what's behind me right now, all of the little gauges start up, and the DOS prompt starts running across.
Mm-hmm.
All the big lights, it seems like it's on some kind of a alternative generator power,
right,
almost. But it is feeding directly into the computer system's network and navigations,
right,
and the central command, right?
Right.
You don't know necessarily if it's to propulsion, obviously, but you have access to data, you have access to the computer systems, everything else to a limited degree, right? That's what you see, and you realize as all these screens are popping to life around you, and the DOS prompts and whatever are running across it will start to fill up.
All right.
So as you finish that.
So I will go through the DOS prompt. I will queue up the beacon code. I'll pull up the. I will soft hack the alarm or beacon terminology, and I'll retype in a code that'll be sent repeatedly, and a warning not to come near this, dangerous, right? And once I get that looped and pulsing out, right, and I have that powered up and pulsing out, then I'll hook my if I can get it properly pulsing out, this warning to stay away, danger. I will then.
That's your. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's your intent. That's your intent, and you're working toward that goal when you notice that some of the code has been changed and you don't recognize it. It is in different. It's almost like a virus code that's been implanted into a beacon, or the audio spectrum of the beacon.
Okay.
And it is of, like I said, it's alien to anything that you know of, as far as like any kind of computer programming. So this you've tapped into a situation where you've seen all these unrecognizable code links and streams pile across just continually as it comes up, right? Okay. Then it'll do like that. Then it'll be like a bunch of dots.
Yeah.
And then it'll come up again, then a bunch of dots. So it seems to be cycling through some kind of viral code source and projecting that. Now,
but it's on an audio signal, and it's repeating.
It's on a loop. Yeah, the way you can discern it after about 3 or 4 times when it goes up, that it's on a loop and it's repeating. Now, your Vox is off, but that headache that you felt is starting to return, where it was starting to alleviate. It's starting to come back, like a spike right in the middle of your head.
Okay.
Right, as this goes out, and you know that it's transmitting right now.
Right.
So, if you can, I don't know what you want to do on that.
Yeah.
Increasingly.
Okay, so I'll tear the wires loose that I hooked in to power this terminal up. I'll pull the wires loose from this power from the solar panel. Yeah, and see if that should hopefully shut the monitor down and send in the audio signal.
Yeah, it does, and it starts to relieve pressure on you. Now you know, and I'm not stopping you from what you want to attempt, because you could
eradicate,
delete, stop, whatever.
Right.
this signal. I'm just saying it kind of automatically when you set up to put in your signal, that just started popping up
Right.
and going through.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So you immediately just unplug
Correct.
it and terminate it
Correct.
right
I get out my my little pad, my little electric pad that they handed out, and I pop the back off, and I begin to wire the solar panel directly into the back of that.
Okay.
And get it where it's powered up indefinitely, my little pad separate from the ship. So
Yeah,
I wire the solar directly into my data pad, right?
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, it used to be dim. Now it's really bright.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can tell that that it's hooked
So
up.
I bypass the battery in my little hand pad that's not connected to the ship, and then I flip it over and I pull up the signal options, wireless options, audio options. If this thing will send out wireless or audio, it must get some kind of information into it that we would get updates on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll find that signal, make sure that's on, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to turn it on to, and I'll program in, it's sending out a warning to stay away from this ship. So I will do that, and I'll prop that up on the console and let it sit there via a wireless signal or hooked directly into the satellite power, and then I'll back away, knowing now that I've at least put up some type of warning. Signal.
It seems to be working like as to your desire. You set the thing there, and it starts triggering that warning.
Yeah.
That auto warning, and you can see that, thankfully, instead of that.
Right. So then I'll look around the area and make sure I find some kind of object I could use as a weapon. You know, I'll look around the area and just look to see if I can find some kind of weapon, some kind of hand weapon I could use. And I'll head for that exit again, back to our little ship. Okay. I'll backtrack all the way back.
Yeah. Now, as you're going back toward the elevator, you get into it to descend, and you see, like, out the port window, but you see the bridge top where the terminal's computer is. You see a hand come up and grab, and then the top of a head, this half lolling to the side. That head that's lolling to the side comes up, and it's emptied out. It's right. You still got your compromised suit on, but this individual, has been hollowed out and desiccated, and it opens its mouth, and you see that red again, and then it slams shut, and I'm assuming that you're descending down, right?
Yep.
So you're backtracking all the way down, and you worm your way back through there.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to shut that elevator hatch or whatever, and get out there, the hallway seems clear. Squeeze your way through that opening in the thing. Both sides. You're backtracking to the fishbowl.
I'm backtracking to the room we entered the ship, where Bill's flailing around and the other. Yeah. And once I get in that room, I'm going to try to navigate myself around Bill and get out to our ship.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way back, and when you get in there, Bill has he's still spasmodically floating around, but it's like he's just floating in there because his tether's wrapped around some of the equipment,
right?
And it doesn't give him no more than about a foot and a half, so he'll bang around. It just looks like a haunting vestige, but you're able to make your way around him to the door and creak out. Now you will notice that when you're making your way to the door, it's through your headlamp alone.
Right.
There's no
light from the ship. Yeah.
Light source. Right. Mm-hmm. Now you're coming out of that, and you look over. Immediately, you don't see the ship. You do, however, see to your immediate right, the claw that was from the ship still bit into the tangled metal. So you've got your backpack on.
Mm-hmm.
You still see your, you can see a little bit of a tethered foot and body and leg float out a little bit, and it floats back. So it's like that fishbowl was careened around the side of it and crashed into the side of it, but the arm still holds it, right?
Right.
Well, one of those guys is still tethered to it, right?
Okay.
So you see him float out in the view, and then he goes back.
Okay.
So maybe it's the safe assertion that the bowl's still there.
I will use
You got
my.
your Vox off still, by the way.
I'm sorry.
You got your Vox off still, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I will use my propulsion on my pack to navigate. I'll navigate out, but I will keep a hand on the clamp, the broken old clamp, and I'll navigate around the edge of the ship to see if our actual ship is still attached to that arm.
Yeah, and when you do, it is momentarily, but you see that shifting, and the flailing of the individual that you caught, and then it whipped away, was because that bowl is turning.
Mm-hmm.
The arm is still gripped, but where you saw that it was crimped before, it's now twisted metal and crimped. And if you could hear it pop, you could, but you could see it as it pops free, and then the bowl starts floating away, pivoting, and the individual that's tied to it, and there's only one, the two, you can't ascertain if it's Jules or whoever it is, right? But they're following it, floating around on that tether, and it's starting to spiral away, fairly rapid. Now, I mean,
I will I will let go and jettison toward it, full speed, and I'll try to sink myself as it's rotating. I'll try to sink myself, so I'll rotate and grab hold of it, and then I want to walk around it, crawl around it to our entrance.
Luckily you do, and then as fate would have it, you don't, and you shouldn't probably go straight to the hole, but you're able to grab a hold of the tether, and you'll slide down a little bit and bump right into the individual at the end of it, right? You slam into him, and it doesn't move. You slam into him, but it doesn't move. It pulls the tether taut, but it's exactly right beside where the airlock is, where you need to pull up. So you're on that tether.
Right. I will attempt, before I pull myself toward the ship, to see if this person is alive.
Okay. If you turn around, you see, more or less feel a spasming of the body. Well, first it was just a jolt of you coming up against it, but it's slapping back against you, and you turn around and visor, face mask to face mask.
Yeah.
You see like a desiccated Jules.
Right, gotcha.
And his face mask is cracked, and then the same effect is when opens his mouth, it kind of implodes on him.
Yeah.
His face shrinks in from all that. The eyes go, and then it pops red, so you see it in real time, affecting in almost like screams, like a banshee, like in your face. As it's there, I think naturally it may want you to repel, but
I will switch off his Vox that would go into his helmet.
Okay.
And see if that kills this energy force. I mean, does it appear to stop yelling?
Not noticeable. It may. No, he's still yelling.
He still looks like he's yelling. Right. Okay. Well,
Yes.
I'll watch for a second, and then I will secure myself to this line and pull a couple of arm lengths away, and then I'll cut I'll fish out of my tool belt my wire cutters, and I will actually cut him loose into space. This body.
Yeah. You know, you're doing. It's very hard to do because as you're doing it, it's like you're wincing with pain because of that spike. It rescinds in you as you're seeing him over to the side when he opens his mouth and whatever like that. It's like it shoots in your head, and then when he shuts it, and then it'll go away for a second, and then he screams again, and it goes right back in your head. So it's you're doing it, but you keep focused enough to break loose from him, and more or less, honestly, what you could do is just unattach him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
well, whatever way would normally send him spinning into space.
Yeah, you could just unattach it and attach it to you in that way. He's spinning and flailing into space, careening and cartwheeling away from you. You're held on, so you're able to pull back. But
and I'll pull myself up to the actual door.
Yeah.
And is there a porthole window here?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, can I see if Tabs or McCornish appear to be alive, dead?
You see flashes back and forth of it looks like some kind of struggle that's going on inside of the vehicle. The lights, it doesn't help that the lights inside keep going off, keep going on, flashes. The lights on the exterior are totally off. Isn't beaming out. I guess somebody hit something on the controls or something like that. But they seem to be first and then maybe on the floor, rolling around. But the bodies are buffeted and floating inside. Okay. Right? But you can see that they're still animated and still moving around.
Okay.
Right? Now, you are there is a panel code.
Yep.
On the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I will.
Now,
I will bang in the code to open this door, decompressing it, and sending whatever's in there out into space.
I'll let you do that. In a little bit of meta here, I had rolled actually whenever he punched in the code in the first place to see if he recognized it. Okay. So you do, and you punch it in, and it hisses and opens up. And you get in, and you can see more readily as you're in there trying to, before decompression happens and it opens up again. You can see that one of the two, the back to him is down, and he's got a floating. It's like he's trying to keep stationary on the ground, but he's got a piece of equipment reaching down and coming down and coming down on the other individual. Right?
Yeah.
And finally that cycles over, the door behind you shut, it cycles over, comes green, and hisses open, rather.
Yeah.
And you step in, and the head twists around after it had put down that piece of, like, mechanical box or something that was just bashing.
Right.
And then the head flips around, and you see his tabs, and he goes, "Thank God it's you." And you see from the side angle that he had been bashing the head out of McCornish, whose mouth is open, halfway to the side, splintered, and there's a red glow coming out in the door, but the body's like that. There's a soft kind of loosening or lessening of the intensity of the glow, as well as your headache. Right. As the ship is careening away. And he goes, "Help me with this. Let's get him out of here. I got to get this ship back on course." And he's scrambling up and pulling himself back into the
I'll pick up McCornish and pitch him out, and then seal the interior door while he gets into the pilot's seat.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit down and secure myself and tell Tabs, take us back.
What the hell was that, man? All right. And that's where we'll close the curtain.
Okay.
And drop it.
Nice. Okay. That was good. How'd it feel?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, I literally, it's funny because the prompts of rolling this one dice, and like I said, I even preloaded that prompt. Like I knew that it might matter for you to be able to enter, what the code if you hadn't asked for it. So I
Well,
don't know
all
why I
you have
thought
to,
of
when
that
I
at the
tell you
time.
what I'm doing, all you got to do is make a roll, and if I fail, you can say you punch in the code and it doesn't activate. So
Yeah,
you must have the wrong
it's
code, right? So I can do that. If you make a roll and I fail, you just tell me that I punch in the code, but it doesn't do anything. I mean, that's
yeah.
all you got to do.
Oh, it is exactly that simple. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I think I presuppose like of your awareness what you as an engineer who typically does this punches in code might be aware of.
Yeah.
So whether or
But
not
the
I
great
did
thing,
that,
ideally, you want to be
yeah,
naive. You don't want to assume any way I might think. But what
yeah,
I say, you just respond to. Oh, I'll make a roll. Is there a complication, or is this a skill check? Does he know the right code, or does he get the right code, the code punched in properly, or whatever? But yeah, I mean, obviously, you kind of play anticipatory. The problem with playing anticipatory is you're guessing. You might be guessing what my motives are, which you know,
oh,
right?
you're 100% right because I
Yeah,
don't need to do that at all.
right.
What I'm saying is, and I have to express that because
Mm-hmm.
that could be potentially an aspect of like doing this. It's like I knew that you were an engineer, so I know
Mm-hmm.
that you would probably normally keep tabs on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And to have codes because I
yeah,
knew that security was on a lockdown. If somebody could figure it out, you could probably bypass it or
right. Well, yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that, easy.
Yeah. Well, and if
But
I
as
say
far as
like I
just
did
simply walking up,
on the other door that I just go over and find the panel and disassemble the panel because it's mechanical and I use the mechanical crank. All you have to
yeah,
roll is there, if you want to, is there a complication to this
oh yeah.
thing? It's stuck, and you're cranking on it. The damn thing is so old, it's stuck. I mean, you could have a
Yeah,
complication,
see,
right? Right.
I was rolling
Yeah.
for complications
So
and
you
I
don't
was
have
rolling
to
for
actually you don't have to tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm going to do in character what I would do, even if you haven't defined that. Okay, these old doors have hand cranks on them. You don't have to.
yeah,
I'll decide based on my engineer that these old doors have hand cranks on them, right?
yeah.
But you're just
That's
rolling to see if the hand crank's working or is it jammed or right. So the great thing about it for something like science fiction is I'm not so much creating from my character's perspective, I'm doing what my character would know, what my character would already have experienced, that he would be aware of some of this old technology, he would understand this. So you don't have to say, well, no, Jason, there is no hand crank here. So there's nothing
oh,
to ever
yeah.
force a retconning of information, right?
You're correct. You're
Yeah.
correct. And you there?
Yeah.
You're correct. And I guess what I'm pointing out is a niggling little thing because that was for me for the presenter
Mm-hmm.
to say like to tell me that if you would walk up a door and say I'll punch in the code and walk through, I wouldn't say you don't. I wouldn't need to roll. I would just say he knows it. Like in my mind, he knows it.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you go, I walk in the punch, it's not working. That's how I interpreted it, and I would say. Then you would have to say like I'm bypassing it or whatever, and then I would roll for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like an impromptu for me,
Mm-hmm. Well,
but
right, and see the
it's
difference.
weird. It's weird.
Well, the
You
way
know what I
I
mean?
do it, the way I do it is I present you with information, and as you take action, as you either
Yeah,
change scene, take action, declare what you're doing, then I just roll. I just do a roll to see if there's going to be a complication. So while you're
yeah.
moving through the space live,
Well,
I'm
that's
just rolling to see if something might come up. And then I only make rolls for your talents when you declare something that would be a challenge, like for me to take my little handheld device and turn it into a beacon that would send out an emergency warning, right?
yeah,
That would be a skill check that you would say, okay, well he's an engineer, so he just needs to roll a 3 or better to achieve this. That would be a roll to see if I get it done. But anytime that I'm just moving through the space, telling you what I'm doing. All you need to do is as I change the environment, as I say, I'm
yeah.
moving through the door into the hallway, you would just make a roll to see if there's a complication. As you move through the door into the hallway, you can imagine in the hallway is something,
Yeah,
yeah, or right.
that
And
is
so
the way I
you
played
don't
it
have to
all the
worry
way through.
about what I'm saying, only that I'm moving through space, and you're just going to be adapting that. And if I do something that's under a challenge, that would require a skill check or a professions check or whatever, you just decide if I need a 3, better than 3, or 3+, right? That's the mechanic, right?
Yeah, and that is how I played the whole game.
Yes,
okay?
Exactly.
I was rolling.
Yep.
The only reason I bring that up is because we're playtesting. I have to ask myself, it was weird because when it got there, it was like I was rolling this to inform myself, like, if he says I punch in or go through, I wasn't going to put any kind of restrictions for you just going in from door to door.
Right.
Because I knew that it was a restricted place that you could have access to whether you need to know a code or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know what I mean? That's why I guess I needed to. But it was unorthodox. It went outside of what the thing was. And I didn't think about it. It was almost like I did it and then I thought, wonder why I did that. And then I kept playing. But it was of note to say. I'm not saying that because I could have easily did it the other way. Like, you could have walked up to it. Does he remember the code?
Mm-hmm.
Or does he?
Well, that's normally that's traditional. What we normally do is when somebody says they walk up and right. In a traditional game, you'd say, okay, let's make an intelligence check, see if you know this code.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I would have did. It was just for some strange reason that I took note while I was playing. I was like, why did I do that?
Well,
I'm just saying I think I did it, but it doesn't really.
The only time that felt weird to me was when I told you I was tearing loose from the conduit, the wires to establish the solar. I wanted the solar power wires separated, and you told me no, I need to go into the main hub to do that. I need to go up the elevator shaft. It's like, no. I mean, if there's condos here, if there's a conduit here, all I want is to get. I just want to get that solar panel that I can. And I was planning on attaching my little device, sending out an alarm from that location. I wasn't going to go up the elevator shaft.
Yeah,
right.
But I mean, there has to be some rationale, I believe, to the world, and the same way that you
But then you don't tell me that I have to go up the shaft. You tell me that there's no way to actually conduct power here. But you're going to have to do that from the cockpit. Oh, then I need to go up the elevator shaft. But how you communicated it was you got to go up the elevator shaft instead of telling me I'm not going to be able to generate power here.
So I laid out the process
you kind of basically said you need to go up the elevator shaft. Right, as opposed to saying you find the wires, and as I say, okay, I'm going to try to use this solar panel to power up my little device. You would then say you'd make a skill check, or you would make a complication check, or if you've already decided, which is fine, it's okay for you to say no, this wouldn't conduct power here. It's just wires. Then you could say, you know which wires are which, but you know you can't create power here. You're going to have to go up to the main cockpit to do that, the bridge to do that. Oh, then I'd say, well, okay, I'm heading up toward the bridge, up the elevator shaft. Let me decide that. Right, and I knew what you were doing. You were trying to say you can't do that here, right? But you kind of said, hey, you need to go up the elevator shaft. It's like, wait a minute, tell me I can't do it here, but you don't have to tell me where to go. I understood what you were trying to do, but so instinctually you were trying to. I should have
let you play. In other words, I stopped you from playing.
Well, not really. You just answered it for me. You basically just said you got to go up the elevator shaft. That's all. You didn't not let me play. You just gave me an answer that I might have had to find. Right.
Yeah, but protocol, like, I need to just tell you pertinent information to you.
Yeah, you just need to respond to what I'm doing. It's working. It's not working, or there's a complication. Right.
Yeah,
that's then let me go. Shit. You know what? All right, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna think about where can I generate power here. And then you could make a complication roll, or you can make a skill roll, and then you could say, you know what? You know that you can get power generated via the solar panels in the bridge. Okay, I'm headed for the bridge.
I think my problem as a GM with the concept of, and this is the playtest trying to figure out how to do this, is like the concept of you being an engineer.
Yeah.
And what you would readily already know.
Correct.
And I think I was using the dice to see if you would, you see what I'm saying, would know this information.
Yeah.
So I was info dumping that little bit of information, like,
in a way, It was not.
But
it's not a problem. It's just awkward. It's awkward, and that would eventually that would go away as we play more like this, because you'll realize, again, the character is acting from character. I'm assuming I understand a lot of these mechanisms. That's what I do before a session. Hey, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm basically a mechanic, and so that's my profession. I'm an expert at this, or I wouldn't be out here doing this. And, so there was some understanding of what I am, and then all that entails. Every skill or every idea, every piece of gear. Hey, I'm going to grab my gear belt. I'm going to grab a hammer off my tool belt. You could have rolled a complication to say what hammer, or you could say, dude, of course he's got a hammer and a wrench on his tool belt. That's what he is. And so none of those were a problem. All that's completely normal. I'm not creating an environment to cheat. I'm creating an environment that's part of my character's maison scene, what I'm wearing, what I know, and when I tell you, hey, I'm going over and I'm going to disassemble the panel that allows me to hand crank open this door. I'm telling you that this is the technology that we're dealing with, and you'd be just fine with it. You go, oh, that's cool. I just got to roll to see if there's a complication. So you're not rolling to see if I know that, and you're not rolling to see if I'm capable of that. You're rolling to see if the damn thing will turn. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's true. That was true when I was going to identify the solar panel wires. You didn't know what I was going to do with those wires, but I wanted to identify them. I'm going through the white wires, the green wires, the blue wires. I want to separate the solar panel wires to power separately. So I was saying what I was doing, right? So then all you have to do is roll to see, well, okay, is there a complication? Like, you know what? This conduit doesn't appear to have any solar power data in it. There's no solar panel wires in this particular conduit. But you do know that on these old ships, a lot of that stuff went directly to the bridge. And then I would have been cued, I need to head to the bridge. Mm-hmm.
It's how I present it to you and what steps it needs to take.
Right.
I think one thing that I was sidetracked off and side processing off.
And what complicates this is you're also naive. So you don't know yourself this ship. I mean, this isn't pre-written where you knew the ship and you do all the schematics of the ship. So you're also, in a way, naive about the whole, the whole thing. You are as naive as a presenter as I am as a character in this mystery, right?
See, but this is where whenever I did the little schematic display of the ship, I outlined in my mind.
Correct.
And so that's what predicated how the ship worked.
Correct.
So
which by the way becomes the truth. You told me this is an old spoked-wheeled ship. It had its engines on the same hub as the cockpit. It had a wheel that went around it, and this is how it pilots. So you defined all that. I stayed within those parameters, and when you told me it was old, like this is old, this is old technology, I stayed within those parameters of wires and conduits and hand levers. You know what I mean? So when you told me what it was, I kept within the genre of the technology and the concepts, right? So that's that idea that we're going to share this narrative space. I have to, what you say is real, I have to confirm it, and I have to stay within that space, and that's what keeps us in this fictional space where we're enjoying this imagination together. And I don't think we had any problems there. I don't think there were any problems with different science fiction or me misinterpreting the level of technology that I'm dealing with here.
I think there was a little bit of problem with me. It wasn't about rolling. It wasn't about rolling for complications.
Right.
I used those prompts to decide whether you were effective, ineffective, what was occurring, if there was something complicating it. They definitely outlined all of that. Where I had problems, and I think it comes from like on a deeper thing, like psychologically. Like my uncle had told me, he used to work on older equipment in the military, and then he said he went up to like a fair reunion in Indiana or something like that, and was at the bar, and he happened to be talking to a guy, and the guy was there to try to fix a piece of equipment. Well, they didn't know how to do it, and he said if you thought about doing that, he said the guy went up and talked and went to make a call and came back, and actually took his suggestion. And they fixed it, and then he was amazed. And then they said they called him for like two months trying to get in contact with him. He ended up getting a job, making big money. They would fly him everywhere to work on the older equipment, and none of the newer tech.
That's right.
And so whenever I introduced, like literally, I'm doing this naively. Like I already know that you're going out there, and I already stated like the older equipment It's broke down. They need an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Like from you saying you was an engineer. I'm like, okay, makes sense. And then I say, okay, they find this derelict ship. Okay, it's even older.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be, to me, I'm going a different type.
Right.
It's solar as opposed to,
right.
Well, what kind of engineer are you? And it's almost has that classic car type feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, like, what would he know? So that's what led me down the road to making my own personal roles. Like, okay, he's really going to not have a problem with knowing that. I didn't make a bunch of roles. I just felt like whether it was in your, like, database where you could be working on this kind of thing.
Well, and a complication.
Yeah, he's already old.
A complication can be as simple as saying, as you pull up the DOS prompt, Jason, as you pull up the DOS prompt, you can roll a complication or a failed skill check, failed profession check, whatever you want to do, and you can just flat say, as you're staring at this screen with a green prompt flashing, you have no clue what to type in here. It's too old. You've never seen anything like this. That would be fine.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to elaborate. I think I did a lot of me trying to naively set certain parameters for the tech level and whether you would be it. Like I said, okay, he knows this, and should I be more heavy-handed, or should it bother me where I have to make all kind of multiple rolls, whether he knows this stuff, or should I just kind of make one preliminary roll? Okay, he kind of gets this tech, and then I don't have to worry about nickel and diming him. That's what I was kind of doing,
Yeah, I mean,
so and then I just let
because
the
here's the thing.
roll.
Here's the thing I don't want to ever do. This is the thing I refuse to do as a player. This is one reason why even playing old school D20 is a problem for me. Yeah. Everything is fucking question and answer, and I don't want to be a question and answer player anymore, right? I want to just move through the space. I don't want to ask any questions. Hey, do I understand that is there a panel here that I can push buttons on to get a code to open the door? That's how everybody plays. And so I literally say, I go up to the panel, and I look the panel over, and I realize there's no power, so I think I'm going to pop off the panel and use the hand crank. I just flat told you, because you already told me there was no power to the thing. So I'm not going to ask a question. If I was listening when you said there was no power to it, I'd say that I walk up to the code, the code thing, but I realize there's no power to this. I said out loud to confirm what you had already told me. There's no power to this thing, but there must be some kind of way to get this door open, right? I also don't want to spend a half an hour of our session trying to get through the door. And one of the things we're trying to avoid in all of our gaming is, why are you making a locked door the obstacle of the whole session? Let's not do that. Let's not make locked doors people can't get through. That's no fun. I don't want to spend 30 minutes trying to get through a locked door. So that's the other thing. It's like part of my job as a character is to say, how can I get through a ship? I understood too that there might be an area on the ship that the atmosphere is intact. I don't want to pop open that door and decompress the whole fucking ship either. I don't know if there's survivors in here. So that's going to come from people who understand the science fiction. It's going to come from people who are making an effort to understand the science fiction. But if you're playing with somebody who doesn't, they wouldn't think anything of opening that door and decompressing the whole fucking ship, right?
Yeah, you're right. I guess what I'm trying to say
part of the problem with science fiction is not only do we complicate everything by going into levels of science fiction technology, and we can also retcon old technology, we can have advanced alien technology. You're also dealing with players and GMs that might not be real well versed. I mean, the most they understand about science fiction is fucking Star Wars, which is space fantasy. It's not science fiction at all. It's space fantasy. So
we know that they're going to be playing this in different ways. You know what I mean?
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But that's why I confirm. That's why when you would identify something, I would stay within those limits. I would also reconfirm it by saying, "There's no power to this thing. I need to get a hand crank to open this door." Right? So did I create it? Yeah. But was it foreseeable that something with this old technology would have a hand lever somewhere that you can crank this thing open? Of course. What I can't do is guarantee the thing's not stuck if you happen to roll a complication and it's so jammed I can't turn it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm just expressing, Jason, that the weird thing, because I ran it just like you're saying, except I think at the time, and I don't know if it would be shortcutting or just like I used the profession to say like, okay, well, this is a little bit older technology. does he kind of know this? And then I rolled your profession. I said, yeah, he's versing this shit. So I don't have to, like I said,
So
go through that.
Right.
That
so
way
you predetermined, like language. When we did language checks, if I told you what your level of German was, but all you had to do was make one successful German check, and that decided your German for the remainder of the session. I didn't need to make you make a German check every time you talked in German. Right.
Yeah.
That just eliminates these pointless rolls for language every time they come up. Right.
Let's say, like even the language, like I said on the placard, that was a roll to see if it was going to stand in your way or if it was going to be a pot. And I said, no, it's not, because it came like a 4. Like even it's not a complication. And I said, it's English, so you're reading the names of these rooms and where you can go into, and where if I said, oh, it's German,
Yeah.
That was just something that I added.
Sure.
Like if it was a 3, okay, it was a complication that you got to navigate around. But other than that, it was. I'm saying as far as a naive narrator, I don't know if you can read this stuff, or I don't know if you really know about solar old. Like I said, it's even older. So then I go, no, he knows this crap, and then I let you just roll through it, and I didn't have to ask or wonder myself.
Right.
Use process power to go like, does he really know this? And I didn't even. It wasn't part of the thing that would possibly be a complication for you. It was just like
the absolute number one problem. In gaming, is the Q&A way people play. Every player asks questions ad infinitum. They don't play. They wait for the GM to describe the room, and then they say, "Is that chest? Is the chest open or is the chest shut?" And we start the Q&A. 20 fucking questions with 4 different people, and they 20 question their way through the D&D room. And that's just the way people play, and it's sad, but it's true. That's how they communicate, and it is tradition, and it is never going to end, because that's the nature of the DM running sessions and players not having enough data. They gotta call and response, and so that in itself is going to be a hang up for people who want to play the way we play. Number one, the GM not wanting to tell them everything they already know and don't know. Jason, as you float toward the airlock and you land. You look at it and you realize you can't read this language. That's fair, right? I don't need to ask. Can I read this language? Right? You tell me you can't read the numbers are all foreign to you on the digits code. So this is completely foreign digit codes and shit. This is like some kind of runes and shit, alien maybe. Then I know immediately I'm not gonna be able to read anything, right? Now there will be the guy who inevitably says, "Well, my character, would he have seen or read anything about old alien tech like this?" And, then you're going to start the die rolling fucking process, because the guy wants to gain advantage, as opposed to accepting the limitation. Jason, you can't read this language. I'm not going to waste time trying to read it. You've told me, okay, that's an obstacle. I'm going to have to overcome this entire session. I'm going to have to overcome trying to read this language. So I just accept the fact that I don't know. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to randomly jam in some digits, see what happens. And then we have we just have this. I just randomly punch in a few things and see what the thing does, right? And we just work through it. But I don't want to be in question answer mode, which is exactly what traditional gaming is: question answer all the time. So that means the players have to be in character and do what they would do. You don't have to ask God questions. You know what, God? Can I go out and get in my car and drive over to Sonic and order a hamburger and fries? You just do it. You just get in the car and you drive to Sonic. But along the way, you may encounter a car accident. Or Sonic's out of French fries. God damn it, I really wanted Sonic French fries. They're out of French fries. Or Sonic's closed. The health department's closed them down. They're overloaded with, roaches and pests. So they've closed Sonic down, and that's ruined my day. I'm going to have to go to McDonald's, And so we want people to move through the space and discover as they move through the space, and as the GM, I need to not know that Sonic's closed. But I happen, as you pull into the Sonic parking lot, roll a complication, and I say it's full. There's nowhere for you to park and order, or, oh, Sonic appears to be closed. There's nobody here. That's weird, and, whatever. And so that's the truly new style of role-playing we're talking about. Be a character, act like a character, do what a character would do, and the GM will handle those obstacles by either allowing you to continue to move through the space. So how many periods of this, when I said I was doing something, did I move through the space without question?
Oh, without question, I felt like, okay, if I could, like the positives and the negatives, because I always start with like the questioning aspects of me, like with the engineering, when you said engineering, so I'm going like, okay, I know that there's essentially different tech levels.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was I found myself preemptively going like, does this character know shit about older? Okay, he does. I'm not going to nickel and dime him. He can move through without me stopping him, right? So that facilitated an open door, which I think helped. Now, as far as the type of, because I'm still processing all this information,
Mm-hmm.
and I go like you're right about that. Like I want to do this wiring.
Yeah.
How I handle it. Yeah, you're right. It could have been done differently instead of me going like, because I was thinking, okay, schematically, this character would understand that it's there. So I preemptively just kind of data dumped it on you
Mm-hmm.
and said like, this is what's going through your mind. But I should have let you play that out and respond and handle it differently. That's 100% correct.
Well, it wasn't.
But
yeah, I mean,
well,
again, it was just awkward. It wasn't wrong, you know.
well, I'm saying that I felt that.
Right.
You know, I felt that awkwardness because I was wrestling with this stuff in my mind because I'm doing this for the first time.
Right.
And trying to ascertain, especially from a engineer standpoint, and then I had that realization, that epiphany in game as we're playing. Oh shit, we do have different tech types. This is going to be applicable in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not only am I running this for the first time this way, but I've got to. Okay, so that was some of the little struggles I was doing evaluating. But then, like rolling for complications, the only time I would really stop you is if there was, to me, if there was a complication that I'd rolled. Because when you were attempting to do a task, I would just see whether it was even. If I added in a little bit of, I was rolling constantly. I was rolling for either your, essentially, if your profession didn't allow it, it was a complication.
Sure, and that's going to be completely up to the presenter, because if you're naive, you should be rolling the dice to kind of cue you as to whether there's a problem or not.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
If not, you're just letting the player. You're just letting the player wander through the thing, doing whatever the hell they want. There's never a challenge. There's never a conflict.
But as a presenter, I realize that there's two levels of conflict. One of them is the world that has nothing to do with you. Like I roll profession skill whenever you're trying to affect the world, right? That's when I roll that. But as far as like just like, okay, the last thing you walked into, where you saw that commotion, and I made up all that crap. I just invented that. The hollow is what I'm going to call them. There'll be okay. Yeah. Now he's passionate. I don't know which one is passionate. I roll a complication to find out if it's going to be to your detriment. And I just rolled it and I said, and it ended up being an even number, which wasn't a complication. And then all of a sudden, Tabs turned around and said, "What the hell was that?"
You find out. That's why it's called naive narrator. You find out as we find out, or we find out as you find out. And so
I don't know.
You don't know who's bashing who. You roll the dice, we find out that it's the Tabs, and he's sane and sober, and we're good to go. Or it's Tabs, and he's lost his mind, and I got to eject him from... I'm going to literally decompress this unit and send him packing or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point. Part of the joy here in Dark Age of Man and in this, even to a more extreme level, is we don't know, and we got to figure out how to put that into language and context and communicate it effectively to the players as it happens, and the players have to respond in kind live. It's quick. It's going to be. There's not a whole lot of thinking. I don't know. Is there a hatch to get into the cockpit here? Let's think about that. You know what? I don't know. Let's roll a d6 and see if there's a hatch to get into the cockpit. That's how most traditional gaming goes, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're already jumping to the let's roll to see if there's a hatch to get into the fucking cockpit.
Yeah.
We're already doing that without having the outward conversation with the players about it. When a player goes, "Is there a hatch to get into the cockpit from the bottom portion of the ship?"
I just roll a dice if it's odd.
Instead of either the player's going to say, "I'm headed for the hatch to get into the cockpit," and we're going to go, "Okay, that means I'm rolling for a complication. The hatch is here, dude, but it is jammed shut because I rolled a complication." They have to think of something else. Or I'm going to roll to say, as you approach, you see that there is a hatch to get into the cockpit from the other side of the whatever. It's
all of your rolls, Bo, like in that fight, like you failed it.
Yeah.
Then you got wrapped up with him.
Yeah.
You failed it like a big. It was a 1. Whenever he shot across, you was trying to make your way, and they said, "Okay, from his spasms, I don't know what's happening." Okay, he jettisons and then buffets you.
Right. Well, and I knew those were I knew those were failures.
Yeah.
Because again, but the whole point is, I'm in a live fight, so okay, bang, I get hit and I get wrapped up. Well, I gotta still do something to end this. I'm gonna hit him with a hammer. Right, and if I fail again, okay, I'm going to leave the wrench stuck in his head. And I'm going to pull my hammer out and I'm going to hit him in the skull. Right, I'm just trying to, like real life. I don't know why I can't kill this thing. I'm going to keep hitting it with something until I kill it. It's real. It's because you don't know the secret formula. It has 8 hit points, not 4 hit points. Right, I'm rolling until you literally change the scene. Right? And that would be you on the 4th failed roll, you might say he reaches up and tears your helmet off and you suffocate, game over. Or you say you're knocked unconscious, the screaming of this thing renders a splitting headache and you pass out and you wake up floating, in this chamber and you look over and there he is wandering around going, ah, and you're just floating there, waking up, right? I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we can fail or fail catastrophically, which is something we're going to have to worry about in the rule book. What is the final failure? What is the failure that says you died? Your character actually died.
That's what I saw ramping up, because you failed that one. Like, it was a 1, and he jettisons across, wraps you up, and then you try to hit it. It was actually a fail, right? Mm-hmm. But the fail was translated like you try to hit him, sure.
Yeah.
You rip it to his mouth, the side, and then he screams, and then all of a sudden you get this splitting headache, which is a countdown to failure.
Yeah.
And then you roll again, and you hit like a 6.
Right.
Crush him right in the skull, and he stops. But you get a splitting headache. You break away from him, push him off as he's spasming, and then you walk out into that. That's how that works.
Well, and my response, again, because we're in a naive narrator space, and you have created this situation through the Vox that's audio, you've made this an actual creature with an effect. I then noticed I turned off my Vox to try to end that effect of the creature. Which now becomes
you just
our
lost
truth.
Some information.
Right. But I shut off my ability to communicate, but I also shut off its ability to harm me with this Vox thing.
Yeah, that's what it means.
That's where
we're
now we're playing tic-tac-toe. If you tell me it's using my Vox to cause harm, I'm shutting off my Vox. I've lost communication, but I've shut that portion of the creature down. So that's where we also get into what is this? How is this gaming? That's gaming. You've identified something. And I'm saying, I'm gonna. It's like somebody saying Medusa. You see Medusa stare at the soldier behind you, and he's frozen, turned to ice. And then what's the most normal thing anyone doing is going to say? They're going to say, I'm going to turn my head away. I'm going to block my eyesight from Medusa, because you've shown us that Medusa can turn us to stone if we make eye contact. Yeah, so now tic-tac-toe is if you're too stupid to block the X with your O and you look at Medusa, we're making a save versus death here, right? But I've foreshadowed through you witnessing it so you can find some way. Now, you're still making saves because you can be exposed. In D&D, you would still make saves because you could be exposed. You just naturally defending yourself might make eye contact with it. But the gist of what I'm saying in our game, the game element is you identified the Vox. It was using the Vox to cause audio harm. So I then said, okay, he's put an O down. I'm going to put an X down. I'm going to block this Vox. Now, I might have been wrong. It could have been telepathic. But I'm guessing to reduce this effect. Meanwhile, I also lost ability to communicate with anybody via my Vox, right?
Yeah, and like whenever you're trying to do that beacon upload. Yeah. So you'd failed that. Yeah. You're still doing the beacon upload. Yeah. But then the transmission come out, and that sent that to me, like, either was could possibly, potentially, you could go a myriad of ways, but alert something, or either, like, send a signal
I knew immediately when I saw a foreign pulsing signal, shit, I've just given power to its SOS call to call in more of this creature. I don't know. So I immediately said, I'm unhooking the power, and I'm going to now avoid using this internal thing and use my hand thing. So, again, tic-tac-toe. I failed. Yeah. And I'm realized, it's emitting a signal that's foreign. I don't know what the fuck it's saying. I'm going to unplug it again, and I'm going to use my tool to send out my signal, avoiding it.
Exactly.
Now that's, again, I could have failed that. That could have been a complication. Your device won't send out a signal. It receives signals. It doesn't send out signals. There would have been a million ways you could have complicated my little hand device because we didn't establish it. So right?
But it also affected the fishbowl.
Correct.
My reckon order. You know what I mean? So that had a tangential effect on that to later on.
Yeah. Which I don't have to know. You may have said to yourself it does, but I'll only find out. I'll only find out about that later.
I didn't premeditate that it did.
No.
After the fact, when you're putting the pieces together, you go, "Oh shit!"
Well, it's tic-tac-toe. We're technically playing an endless game of tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, exactly. So
except you have to roll to see if I fell. Except you're rolling to see if there's a complication, which creates tic-tac. We're going to start tic-tac-toe with a complication. I lay down my O.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow the. I'm gonna go look for. I'm gonna go up the railroad tracks. That's your O. You lay down your O. I roll the complication. I put down an X. Well, you come across bear tracks. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna backtrack. I don't want to tangle with a bear. Okay. You are conceding that this X, this block of your O, is fine. You're gonna concede that and head back, right? Now I could roll a complication, but your character acknowledged they were gonna change direction, right? So it really is, and this is the problem. And I was telling this to my wife the other day. This is a problem with trying to write it as a rule book. I just don't know. I don't know if we can quantify this as an actual mechanical rule set, or is this a technique? Because what we're really doing is a technique. I don't know if this can be quantified into a rule book. Because how do you quantify instinctual gaming? How do we quantify all of these myriads of ways you can do with this, right? The minute you write down, hey, it's like tic-tac-toe, then people take it literally and they start making everything a check, O, X, and it's like, oh, you can't say that. So, as I told my wife, we have a real problem. We're technically using techniques. And I don't know if I want to attempt to write a techniques book, right? But so this is something we really have to debate.
We have to examine it. And that's